Take a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Good.
Any changes?
Yeah.
Rita had an item that she wanted added. It's the tenant. Do it under other business.
Sure. Get it? All right, and all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment. And if you're here for a specific bit on the agenda, you can wait until that item. You don't have to speak now. It may work better if it's under what you're going. And I apologize, I imagine many of you are here about the bridge discussion. I did not know how long that was gonna take, so I put that a little later in the agenda so we can get short business out of the way and then move on to the big item, okay? Having. Yeah, when we get there, so any public comment in general? Or about something not on the agenda?
What's on the North Road project? As far as like the GC of the job, who is that? Like the general contractor?
Pike.
Pike, so you guys hired Pike, so anybody that works for Pike. Necessarily, in my understanding, Pike would be responsible for it, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so let's say they left a yard completely destroyed. Who would be responsible?
Pike.
Like, would be that. Well, cause that's not how Chris Jarvis said it today. He said they're washing their hands, that's water's deal, that my yard's getting left like that. Culverts strung out everywhere, dirt dumped over the
Well, I
bank.
mean, Waters is Pike's sub, so.
Well, that's, but so that, as per Chris, the town said that they're not responsible.
That's similar to what Pike told me about my driveway. I actually do any more to my driveway. It's not under contract. What you have is what you're getting. I believe that the engineer purposely and intentionally sloped the roads to come into my driveway. I talked to Pike when they were great. I said, you guys got this slope for my drive. It always has been. And the water's always going through there. I said, it hasn't been sloped like this. And if you stand at my driveway, I built my garage. I transit the original road, transit where my foundation was gonna be. That's 1 foot above the road. So that way, everything sloped away from the driveway. Any water that did come off the road would follow swale and go down, over or go along to the far side. Now they've got it even with my garage. And I've got a slope that comes down and it goes back up to the road. But when you stand at the corner of the garage and look up the road, where the hill comes down, that whole road is leaning towards my yard and towards that driveway. When I talk to Pike, the guy, he goes, it shouldn't be a problem. He goes, I see you have whatever I've got, but he said that shouldn't wash out. It's already starting to wash. So, and we haven't had any heavy rain. It's just, I got nothing against Royalton about this. My disgruntled is with Pike and the way that they finished things in the engineer. And I think the engineer, plain and simple, was unqualified for what he did.
100%. And then to go along with
That
that,
the whole North Road.
from the beginning of the job, of course, I got the ditching. So from the beginning of the job, I knew that 2,600 linear feet of ditching was not gonna be enough. And I'd mentioned it to Pike, I'd mentioned it to the engineer, everybody said they'd get back to me. Don't worry about it, on the end, we'll get it all squared away. Now, and now it's coming to the end, which shouldn't be the end, but now it's coming to the end. Now I'm going to submit my linear footage of ditching, because that's what 11,500 feet is the whole road. Right, one side of the road, 11,500, so. 2,600 was a pipe dream in the beginning, and I said that. I said, this is not gonna work out. There's 4,600 feet of stone mining. We did away with most of the stone mining on most parts. The steep parts is what we got. So obviously, if you take one away, you're gonna add another. So today, I presented it to Chris. Big blow. How could you get those numbers? This isn't, we gotta go with what the engineer says. I said, in the beginning, before I started any work, I had mentioned this and you said, no, don't worry about it. It's all, don't worry about it until the end. It's all, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fixed. That's gonna be fine. It never is fine. It's always you know, and then now Chris is blaming you guys. Chris is coming back and saying, well, you know, I said, well, that's fine. I said, Larry, and I heard about the meeting with Larry and the engineer tomorrow. I said, that's fine. I'll just go present the engineer and show him, because Pike had me ditched by Greg's house. Because the water was coming up over the side, because water's left in such a terrible condition. It was coming over and running down the road. They couldn't do their work. So they had me ditch that beforehand. They asked me specifically to ditch that before.
You got that fixed?
And this has nothing to do with you guys. This was a Pike thing. This was, hey, we need this ditch so we can keep working. Then today I said, well, I ditched that and then I ditched it and stone lined it. I said, I'm getting paid, right, for the ditching beforehand. No, we didn't authorize that. I said, now you didn't authorize that, but when you needed me, you authorized it. But now that it comes time to pay the piper, and that's the whole road, is that whole thing. It's pointing fingers at, it's the engineer's fault. Nothing ever fall back on Pike. Waters isn't, the shitty work that Waters did isn't Pike's responsibility now. Oh, that's their company. So that's why I asked my question, who is holding the candlestick? Who's the guy? Is it Pike?
Pike's the general contractor.
Pike is the contract, right? So when I take a job and I sub people out, if that sub messes up, that's on me. I have to figure it out with the sub.
Most jobs,
Yeah,
most jobs.
Most jobs, unless it's written in clear writing that, hey, this sub that I brought in is your responsibility. And I don't know what the literature was with Pike with you guys. So I can't, and that's the best part about Chris, is he knows that I don't know that. So he can use that, and he does. He has no backbone, no spine. He wouldn't even call me today. I want him to call me. I want a conference call all day. I said, I got nothing but time, my friend. What time are you gonna be off the conference call? All day. I had to track his number down and get him power call until he answered to figure out the ditching numbers. Like, that's not what I want. I'm not that type of guy. I'll go meet you and shake your hand and let's figure it out. That's not how I work. And he dodged me all day long. I have text messages to prove it. Chris called me. And then there's another, that James down the road across from the Rogers. Pike ran over their culvert, right? Crushed it. The Pike crew had me go in, put a new culvert in, build a head wall, ditch it, make it look good, doesn't matter. Gonna be great for you, you're getting a little extra work. I sent him an invoice for that. Oh no, that's the town's problem. I said, this is not the town's problem. This is Pike Industries asked me to fix something that you guys messed up. And that's not the town's problem. Why are you putting it on the town? Always pointing fingers. Like the quality of work on that road is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I've been there. I'm literally the liaison for everybody up there. Everybody comes to me. The Mannings, Greg. We got Kenny's came to me. My driveway's not staying like that, is it? Why are you talking to me? I'm literally just a sub that ditches, you know, but somehow I got onto the, you know, can you fix it?
Cause you're the only one we say.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the problem is like, I've done so much on this road for zero. And I told Chris today, I don't want $1 more for any, I want what I've done for work. I just want that. I don't want $1 more for any of the ditching. I'm not I'm not tacking on, I'm not adding no more than above, I just want what I've done for you. And that's like pulling teeth, he threatened me that if I brought that up and explained why my numbers were like that, cause I had to ditch here and do this. You know, Uncle Herc's house, that lawn was literally 5 feet out in the road. I cleaned it all up. And they don't wanna pay me for ditching that, they don't, that's. We can pay you one time for it, but we can't pay you for going back twice. I had to go back 4 times, I had to go clean up the Rogers 5 times. Waters went down there, changed that culvert 5 times. I went down and re-ditched that. I did not charge for the 5 times I went down and ditched it because they messed it up. I ditch it, they'd mess it up. I ditch it, they'd mess it up. Because 5 times they had to go back and put a driveway culvert in. If they're putting a driveway culvert in wrong 5 times, how can I be confident that they put the culverts in the road in right? And then Pike turn right around and then point fingers at everybody else. Chris Jarvis points fingers at everybody else and never takes responsibility.
So where are we at with the punch list, Larry?
Well, I've got, a meeting with John at 10:30 tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
and we were gonna go over the punch list that, Ryan and I put together. And we emailed it or sent it to Chris Jarvis. And he has responded back with some of that stuff had been taken care of. Some of it can't be done anything with. I tried to get a copy off on my machine tonight, but I wasn't able to do that, or I would have brought a copy of what it was, but, it looked like in Chris's idea that we were pretty well done. But hearing what Dylan has to say, well, I shouldn't use done then. We're pretty well along in the punch list, let's put it that way. But we're gonna go tomorrow and look again. We've been up there a number of times on the same culverts. And talked about the same things, and a little bit gets done, but not what we're looking at.
And the worst part is the whole side of the road and people's property is messed up. People's property, they're not happy with the quality of work that Waters came in and just destroyed people's property. And that's like, yeah, that's just their problem. We got a paycheck. See ya. Like, how come there's no responsibility? There's no accountability. If I was to do a job like that for somebody, they would be coming after me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've never, ever seen the piss poor quality of work that road is. That's got, we would have been better off with the old culverts, and I guarantee that, and I'll tell you. Because I went into the David Road culvert, and that is A, split apart, and B, looks like a snake went down it. It goes in, blown out 6 inches away from the coupling, and then it goes up and then down. That is the 36-inch culvert that is buried the deepest.
About 10 feet under the ground.
I've seen it, I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about,
Larry knows
Couldn't
exactly
believe
what
it.
we're talking about.
couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it. And then they wanna just change that 10-foot section, what about the rest of it? What about when this winter hits and it fucking heaves to the moon?
And all the water under the rest of the culverts, there's not going in the culverts, going in the stone. That's gonna freeze. And it's gonna boil up and it's gonna push these culverts up.
And this was not a cheap job, this wasn't like we got the best deal in the world.
This was a Lamborghini job for the price.
I like to call it tomahawk steak, but I like
Yeah.
your analogy too.
It was,
Well, I mean, we haven't finished paying Pike
No,
yet.
they haven't got their money, and if they don't, do what needs to be done and get it corrected, I don't think they are gonna get their money.
What's the material that they put in for the ramp into, like in my draw,
That was,
dirt with crushed stone in it.
yeah, and we didn't get the best quality of driveway material. It was not the same stuff they put on the road, it was more of a dark brown, I don't know if anybody tested it.
Sand.
It's not, it's like the tailings that come before the good stuff. And the worst part about it is I wanna look at the engineer's checkbook, because I guarantee he's getting something from Pike. Because if you look at the timeline and the way that it was laid out, the amount of material that came from Pike out of that. We didn't, how we didn't let it go out by the barn? We didn't put any material there, look at it. It's still way high, like you couldn't get a low boy out of there if you tried it, we would have went up 20 inches and then tried to do that. absolutely, it wouldn't even be able to access it. Like, if we did not fight to make that happen, we would not be able to, I would have to doze it off, no shit. And I'm not being an asshole, we would have to doze it off, we could not even drive a car in there. Cause the barn, the way the barn lays, and we could see it before anybody else, the way the barn lays, the grade of that road would have put that apron 3/4 of the way to my grandfather's door. And it would have been right in the middle of the garage doors. There was just no way that you could make it work. And everybody guaranteed us, oh no, that'll work after, that'll work after. It doesn't even work now. It doesn't even work now. This is the problem. And then when you try to call somebody out on it, everybody points fingers at everybody else. Who's the Pike? Pike is the person. Pike is the leader of the team. They hired Waters. They let them do the shitty work that they did and then point it right at, and you know what they always say? Well, that's the engineer's fault. That's the engineer's fault. That's bullshit. It is the engineer's fault. He was way underqualified to do this job. And I think he's in bed with Pike, honestly. I would bet $1 million on it. Because he put an exorbitant amount of stone, an exorbitant amount of material. Everything was way overdone. And guess where all that came from? Pike. Everything. And I signed a contract with Pike that I couldn't source it from any other place. I could have got my ditch stone way cheaper. But I couldn't because it had to come from Pike. Signed a contract, made sure it had to come from Pike. For $680 a load, it had to come from Pike. Why? If the ditch stone's a ditch stone, who's making money? Pike. That's what I'm saying. It's dirty. Something's dirty here.
Patrick, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
I read the contract. And pipe contract. And it says, I believe. Cause I can't state it word for word. But in there, it says that he's responsible for the subcontractors and that we can't talk to some subcontractors. We have to go through them to talk to the subcontractors. So Pike has a responsibility here to make sure that, Waters does their job.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanna ask is, I read in the contract someplace that there's supposed to be a foot shoulder on each side of that road.
So that is coming. They do have their shoulder rig up there. That will be this week.
There's places we'll never get a foot.
I'm gonna
It's way too steep, and the
Yeah.
culverts are too short.
Tom is right on that. There is, they save money and cut the culverts way too close. Like we on our property, we ended up having to build a stone wall up around one just so that it was safe enough for people, and that was done. That was done there. That's how they were leaving it. They shot seed and mulch. Like that's my final step to a project is seed and mulch. Or
I
that,
know, I don't understand why they did that before they finished the road.
I dug 3/4 of it back up, cause I had to go back up through and fix Waters mess ups. And or the engineer, don't let the engineer off of the end of the hook, cause there was culverts that needed to be replaced and taken out because. Any child would know they wouldn't work. An 18-inch culvert in a driveway that has no water is absolutely stupid. And if you went to any sort of schooling or worked in the field at all, you would know that. You wouldn't even have to go and see it to know that, oh shit, that's not gonna work. And then we just do it. We just throw in, I unburied a culvert that was in Dave, right at the bottom of the farmhouse. It was 8 inches underwater, running the wrong way, and 18 inches below that, full of water. And it was pushing water back out into the road. And that's how Waters left it. And then it's my deal to figure it out and then pick up the pieces of it. And then today, on the phone, they don't wanna pay for it. Oh, and then Chris, he's our subcontractor, Dylan will do that for $2.50 a linear foot. A 40-foot culvert at $2.50 a linear foot equals out to about $100. So I gotta fix Waters, which got paid exorbitant, like $7,000 to put a culvert in. I get $100 to fix what they fucked up. Does that seem fair? And then Chris, oh yeah, he'll do that, no problem. No, I will not. That's not how this is gonna work.
And then you move the culvert that they pointing right at Danny's house.
I get another engineering mess up, like if you just walk that road one time, you would know that there's new construction right there, we already went over this, but you'd know there's new construction there, and you wouldn't put it right in the front door of somebody's house. I mean, if you did any work at all on that, instead of just hit print on a computer, you would have known better than to put that there. I think the engineer needs to be held accountable, and anything that has to be fixed should come out of his paycheck.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the pavement's
I've been getting that a
down,
lot today, Larry.
pavement's down.
I've been
And
getting
we
that a
don't-
lot
We
today.
don't, the pavement's down, and I mean, there's some of that stuff we can fix without ruining the whole job. There's some of it I'm afraid that,
And I
You know,
hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I know the culverts are too short. I couldn't believe how short they are. I mean, really,
I've fixed a lot of their stuff already. And I can only do so much with what they left me to bring.
no, but you need to,
It's like a surgeon that hits a motorcycle on the road and just gets torn up. You can only make it look so good. I can only do so much. If you gave me the go ahead in the beginning, I could have made it perfect. But now I'm working off, like, if the foundation shit and you're trying to build a house above it, don't matter how great the house is, looks above it.
no, but what I'm trying to get at is, if you're doing all these things, fixing it up, and you're wondering about getting paid for it, I think you should not do it anymore until you get a contract with Pike. So you will get paid for it, or it gets,
100%.
you know, and so you aren't taking it in the shorts.
And I'm not taking it short. Well, I already have a contract, but this is what I'm arguing now with, I was just finding out who, cause my waters came into my shop, and granted, it burnt, you know, but we kept it decent, right? The driveway, you could drive anywhere in it, you know, without destroying your car, like, it was decent. It's not, granted, it's not, I don't want them to come in and lay hard pack and tar the rest of it, and I don't want that. I just want it back to at least original, where they found it. But no, nobody's said, well, that's water's responsibility. This is what Chris verbatim told me today. Oh, that's nothing to do with us, that's water's. I said, well, you're the general contractor on the job. If the general contractor on the job, I'm not satisfied with what your subcontractor did. Well, that's nothing to do with us. That's the deal that you made with Waters. I didn't make no deal with Waters. They said, hey, can we use your shop? I said, yeah, go ahead. And Pike said the same thing. I didn't charge them nothing. I didn't want nothing out of it. I said, go ahead and use it. Just put it back to where you found it. I got every culvert on that road strewn from one end of that place to the other. Now, no, I can clean it up. I got the equipment, but what if I didn't have the equipment to clean it up? I would be screwed. And I don't wanna clean it up for free. I didn't make the mess. Come on in. I think I've said enough. I'll see you tomorrow, Larry.
Okay, yeah, and Pike hasn't been paid yet, that's my final answer too.
I mean, I personally think they should, I think you guys should go and have a discussion with them about, you know, holding somebody accountable. Whether it's the engineer, if you're gonna make him accountable, but somebody's gonna have something to say, you're the problem. 'Cause-
Or another engineer.
Done.
Yeah, so the problem is it's done now, like the tar's off. We're not gonna cut it up, we're not gonna change culverts, we're not gonna make anything right.
Well, I told Pike I was gonna take a diamond blade saw and put lines going this way across the road so that the water hit it.
You
Be
can
like
go
one of
back
the
the other way.
triple,
And you shouldn't have to do that after a $2.whatever million job. And that's. As a taxpayer. It's hard to see that.
We hear you, okay?
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Dylan.
Always a pleasure.
As a taxpayer, I watched the whole project every week. I went through there and personally, I think this engineer cost this town $1 million more than it should have been. I checked every one of his, I call it French drain, call his drain on the left side going up, whatever you wanna call it. It's basically a French drain. Anytime his drains are daylighted, there's no water coming out of them. That's because there's no water in there. And I was wondering if I could get a copy of the core sample report If that's possible, whoever might have that report, doesn't have to be right now, but. I'd like to get-
That's good.
I'd like to get a copy of that. Just to see what he based it on, but between the 2 miles of French drain, when the road is dry, and I bought my property up on Russo in 92, I've seen the road quite often. And I since sold it to my brother, but that entire road, except for his uncle, it was wet in front of Herc's house, and that's because the water had nowhere to go. But the rest of that was completely dry. For that engineer to put on his prints to put 2 miles of French drain, plus 2 miles of road mat, plus the amount of stone he used, when that road was solid. And some of the pipe people said that the grader operator's been doing this for 50 years. And he was laughing at the entire design because it was solid. All we needed to do was grind that up.
Well, we'll be able to tell by my place, cause we didn't get any of that. We didn't get Madden, we didn't get any. So from the one white place up to the sugar house is
Yeah, well, yeah,
just how it should have been. So if that blows to hell, that's on me. Whatever.
but I looked at his design and he's about 1 million over. That would, just as a Woodstock, we didn't need 18 inches of stone the whole way, except for what Dylan just said. We didn't need a French drain for 2 miles. I've been in construction my whole life, and this whole project is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, and this engineer should have spotted most of what was wrong before it kept snowballing. Dylan shouldn't have to, or anybody on the road shouldn't have to complain about it. The engineer, is his design. You paid him for that design. You paid him to oversee it. Even if he came out once a week, once every 2 weeks, this shouldn't have happened because of the engineer. And as I said in the last meeting I was here, I've worked with engineers most of my life. They wouldn't let anything. I had to meet with the engineer once a week, scheduled meeting, any job, 6 months straight.
And they look over everything you do. You have to prove and
Yeah.
show everything you do.
Nothing like this. This engineer is not qualified for this. And now that it's just about over, it's just ridiculous. And I, as a taxpayer, I'm begging you not to use this man because he failed in a big way. And that extra $1 million could have put a portable bridge across the White River at the Fox Dam.
And I'm gonna just jump ahead on the box stand before we run into this again. Get a temp bridge, leave the bridge there, put a temp bridge right inside of that bridge, buy your guys self some time. Don't jump to any conclusions, buy a temporary bridge if you have to.
I agree.
Put it in the middle of the bridge, 1 lane traffic, that solves your whole problem. And then it gives you guys time to think and figure out what you're gonna do. The last select board dropped the ball on this. On the North Road project. It was a rush job. Tim Murphy sold this to everybody that this is gonna be the best project and this, Tim's a liar. He's just like Chris Jarvis. He has no backbone. He'll tell you one thing and shit you up the back on the next. Don't do that same mistake. Buy yourself some time, buy a bridge, even if it costs $500,000. They sell them, they make them. Buy one, put it over there. Now you own a bridge, put a 1 lane traffic right over the same bridge. Doesn't need any work. You can put it together and slide it through there. That is safety, temporary bridge. Leave it there for 10 years if you have to, but at least gives people the access to drive across and it buys you guys time so you don't have the same situation.
And then you can sell it afterwards.
Sell it to the state.
But no, I'm just, this.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, see you later, Dylan.
No, I agree with you on the French drain, because the only wet spot on that road, and I've been there since '86. If you come from Herc's Four Corners up the slope, that slope down, that,
Right,
but
it's
it wasn't constantly ditched out.
Right.
And there's springs in that field up top, but that's the only wet spot along the North Road. Bob Gray knows that too.
Is this good?
Yeah, it's just making sure nobody had
Yeah.
hands up or anything.
I mean, and it's like I said, that. at my yard, you know, and it's like, there's so many things going on, but I think that they intentionally and purposely slope that road, thinking that the water is gonna come through my driveway and down over and solve their problem of where the water is gonna go. And that's. If I lose my garage and my driveway, I'll go after the friggin' engineer.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that tomorrow.
Back there.
Thanks, Larry.
That's all we got.
Gosh, everyone else is so quiet.
Well, I was concerned too about the fill they use to,
Ramp.
ramp it, to
Looks like
the driveway,
dirt
all of it,
with,
yeah. And I didn't understand what that was.
I stopped and asked Pike, I said, is that my finished grade, finished drive? And it may have been Jarvis I was talking to, I don't know what it looks like, whatever. He says, that's what you're getting, because that's what the contract called for. I go, real, I went ballistic. I said, it's not what you told me you were gonna do. You guys told me you were gonna fix the water problem in the beginning. I said, this is an issue now. I said, so.
Yeah.
You know, then up at the four corners by Nicky and Dave's trailer, there's that big hole they got there now.
Wait till it snows. You know how many people are gonna be in that hole? Wait till it snows.
Yeah, that's.
And a lot of those.
I mean, Pike,
At Sewell, you mean Sewell Brook?
Well, that one too.
No, you're talking about the bottom of my road there.
Oh.
I've been in that before.
Pike needs to be grabbed by the ear and walked along and go on. That's.
But that's what your engineer's for, it's his design.
I mean, every job I do, drainage is one of my main issues. I'm good at it, I know what works and what doesn't work, what these guys did is just. And it probably realistically doesn't have to do anything with pipe, it all goes back to the engineer that set the grades.
What I have to do with both of them, because Pike should have been calling an engineer when they saw a culvert dumping in the back of the house. They should have said, hey, this design, something's wrong here, you gotta come look at what can we do? Right, so it's not just both of them.
There was no benchmark on the prints, period. I saw the prints, there's no benchmarks on there.
What do you mean, Tom? What's,
To start with, for the final elevation, they just said you have to have 18 inches of stone or road mat, 18 inches of stone. Your first layer asphalt, your finished layer, you just go up, but he never put grades on the actual print.
So then it's pipe that grades it toward line,
Which
and that's what
makes-
the guy says, the
Yeah.
water's always run that way and it'll, won't cause a problem, so.
That's enough problem. Thank you.
Thanks,
okay,
Tom.
Tom, well, we'll get your
Yeah,
core sample thing.
Real work.
yeah,
I really appreciate it, thank you.
yeah, we'll
I think
figure
you
that
guys
out.
have
Okay,
other things discussed.
yes.
Well, sorry, you guys, that you've had to deal with this.
It's not,
really not fair.
I'm not complaining to the town, it's their problem, these are the guys that get it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't see Carmen, so I'm gonna say we can skip the liquor and lottery report. Next. Yes,
Next,
you're.
yeah, I'm Misty Berry, the president of the South Royalton Cooperative. Thank you for your time or having me here tonight. I'd like, on behalf of the market, we're requesting that the town consider adding an additional handicap parking space on the storefront side of the street. To give a little context to this request, recently we had a disabled individual who required the use of crutches. It was during a time where there were no parking spaces in front of the building. And this individual had to park in front of the post office in that handicap space, which technically is designated for postal customers only. And make his way to do the shopping, all the way, come across the street. While in the store, he did engage both with an employee and a member who did explain that the town has future plans of making the downtown ADA accessible. But just internally, the board thought that maybe an interim solution might be to add, another handicap space in front of the storefront area.
It, there is a handicap spot at the end by Acton Place, right?
Isn't that? Is it still there?
I don't think the markings are clear.
Yeah.
I believe there's still a sign there, but I know there's not markings on the ground.
Oh, so maybe
Where
it's
is
as
it?
simple as this.
On the corner of Windsor Street and Chelsea. Very fun.
Acton.
Right on the corner.
Is,
That's
no,
right.
it's at the other
On
end.
the other end, close to the railroad tracks.
Oh.
By the barber
Down
shop.
by
Yeah.
Acton.
Oh, by the barber shop.
Yeah, yeah.
By the barber shop. I thought, I was talking on South Windsor, I thought there was one. There is, isn't there?
Yes, there is one on North Windsor and one on the end of Acton Place.
I don't know what that is.
Some other.
Acton Place is what we're talking
The railroad end.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next to the
yeah,
railroad.
okay,
So if that was better marked,
that would help.
that would help.
Yeah,
Okay,
if we could do that, that would be appreciated.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Misty.
Absolutely.
That was the easiest one of the night.
Yeah. Let's adjourn.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
No, mine's easier too.
All right, Old Homestead.
Okay. I have two requests. One, can I have Park Street shut down for the 3 days of the event, which is next week? Thursday, Friday and Saturday, during the event, and not on the off hours, because people need to get in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I'm requesting some funding from the town as a sponsorship or whatever, where the monies didn't come in as they have in the past. I'm actually about $3,000 short of what I've gotten in the past from, sponsors. And we've been trying to fundraise and get the word out there, and it's crickets. Bingo's helped a little bit, but, we've actually had to join forces with the Sharon Old Home Days Committee to combine our fundraising efforts as far as outside of Old Home Days. And it's still just slow getting ready. We haven't made the money that we wanted to. And this is cutting out a lot. Insurance every year keeps going up. The last quote I got was $1,200. That's from GatherGuard. I'm still shopping around. And then my entertainment has thankfully been not as expensive as in the past, and I've actually got a sponsor for one of my bands.
So you're short $3,000 at this point?
This time, yes. I've already put in about $2,000 of my own money to making this event happen.
The town's insurance doesn't cover this?
They've had me get my own insurance for the last few years.
Who's that?
I don't know, what was the last Selectboard, but every year I've had to get my own.
I think
Victories.
because it's an event. It's an event.
You have to have a certificate of insurance.
Yeah, you have to have.
Yeah, but don't they,
Exactly.
can't they put a rider onto the town insurance?
They would get their own and then they would put the town on theirs.
I don't know how they've done it in years past before I've taken this all over. As far as insurance, but, since I've taken it over and gotten our own 501(c)(3) and all that other stuff, we've had to get the insurance and put the town on as a
I'm not,
party.
I'm not,
Are you sure it has happened that way? I'm not sure it is.
It's the only thing I've ever known.
Real?
my bet is especially because it's a separate entity. so they're not covered by our insurance because we're peer to
You
peer.
know, it's done differently with fairgrounds.
Yeah,
But then the fairgrounds, the fair own the grounds where these folks do not own the grounds. I think that's where the sticky wicket is.
No, when we have events, they have to either get their own insurance or they're put on the fair insurance.
Or they have a choice.
The cost, and they pay the cost.
And all,
I'd ask our insurance company and just find out, I mean,
They're still short the money, however you cut it.
it's what,
They're still short the money, however you cut it. In other words, whether they get the insurance, bring it on the town as a cost, so they're gonna have, somebody's gotta pay.
yeah. Well, maybe the town picks up the insurance.
Well, I'm ready to make a motion to support the whole home day.
Me too, I agree, they should.
well, by all means, make a motion.
I make a motion that we support the old home day with $3,000 to have it continue on.
thank you.
I'll say. That's good.
That's what I was staring at before about. Well, any further discussions?
I'd like to see what we're getting for the $3,000, where the money's getting spent.
Absolutely.
Invest for that in the past and have not gotten it. So,
I've been doing very good at keeping the budget. I won't let it go any further than me because of
Yeah.
years past, so
So
I'll
you can-
shoot that over.
Yeah, give us an accounting of where that $3,000, just
Sam,
email it,
Bruce,
What's your last name?
Bruce, BRUC.
email it to, you can email it to Ryan, to the town
Okay.
administrator, and then we'll all pay it, rather than have you mail it to 6 people.
Right,
Yeah, so just detail for us where that
okay,
$3,000 is going,
thank you.
okay? Any further discussion?
do you know if the,
Sorry.
do you know if the farmer's market is happening, on the same Sunday that? the
So,
Old Home
yeah,
Days is?
so we end on Saturday. Victoria has told us that we need to be all of our stuff off the park by 10 o'clock on Sunday, and then, because I guess there's events that happen that Sunday.
Oh, okay, I just didn't know if it could be an opportunity to overlap.
I'm
Okay,
down, I'm
you
down
know.
with that. I mean, I'm all about trying to keep the community engaged in different activities and stuff like that, because we need it.
I don't know if you've reached out to Bale, but they've been really, they have a woman kind of working, on, community
I have
projects
emailed,
and,
I have emailed, Bale, they even gave me, the new email address of the person, and then since I've sent emails out inviting them to meetings or discussing for Old Home Days, how do you want to participate? Because this is their event as well. I mean, it's for anybody that wants to be part of it. And then it's been crickets.
okay,
So that's,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So what are the dates?
31st. August 1st is legit next week.
Oh my gosh.
we have a motion on the floor to provide Old Home Days with $3,000 in funding. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then, Park Street.
Oh, yeah, that's standard.
Pretty standard, it's always
For
happened.
Old Home Day and the whole weekend,
Yeah, it's always been Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
but she said not continuously, just during.
right,
So I'll
Yeah.
shut it down Thursday morning. So I can get my, because I'm gonna need to have my vendor, my
Yeah.
trucks come in Thursday.
Or-
Yeah,
And then, I open it up at night. I shut it down during the day, but you know, I'm
does
usually
the street
there.
have to be closed for the vendors to get in?
but there's nothing happening on Fridays there during the day,
No,
so that it wouldn't need to be closed.
yeah, it's just during the event.
Just during the event.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about Thursday night, Friday night and Saturday night.
Saturday all day, but
Saturday all day,
yeah,
Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday all day.
Yeah.
What's Thursday? Come on.
Sam, I actually don't think the market is going on that weekend. I take part in the market and it goes every 2 weeks. Oh, on Sundays, and the next one is actually the 10th. Oh.
There's a band coming on Sunday.
yeah.
Brass band, I think.
Brett's band.
Yeah. I'll go for it.
And if anybody knows any entertainment that even somebody wants to jam out from like 3:30 to 5 on Saturdays, and my way, I have one person kind of dropped out, so.
How about First Branch? There's some performers that work there and they might be interested.
And I bet Dan Rhoda, could do that.
I didn't ask him only
Wanna
because
make a
I think
motion
he's
to close
playing on
the-
Thursday with.
Sure. I make a motion that we close, Pleasant Street? No,
Park Street.
Park Street on Thursday evening, Friday evening, and all day Saturday.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Stuart. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carries.
Now email that over tonight and sadly I probably got to work.
Thank you, Sam. All right,
Oh. Yeah, I'll start as well.
Adam. Highway report.
All right,
What do you got for us?
so road conditions, most of the roads are in decent shape. There's a couple roads that need attention, we're working on that. That would be Busy Hill Road and Oxbow Hill. We actually just started on Busy Hill today, putting in a sub-base material just to make the road more passable. It was pretty much down to bare bones and ledge. So we put in sub-base material, we're gonna let it roll down for a couple weeks with the traffic in and out of there. And then go back in a couple weeks and do a top coat dress. And then see what we can do for ditching in there. When the guys were working in there today, they found out there's not a whole lot of room to work with. There's a stone wall and then there's a ledge base that they started to get into when they were grading out a ditch. So we're gonna have to reevaluate that. Up and coming work. We got the state grant and aid ditching project on Ricks Road and Happy Hollow. And I spoke with Rita Cito about the work to get exactly what they're looking for the scope of practice with the work. It seems pretty straightforward. There's no culvert replacements, it's just purely ditching, removing berms, and then I believe one tree removal. So we're gonna start working on that, I believe tentatively next week. We're gonna start in on that, because it has a due date of September 30th. So I wanna try to get that done, that way we can either seed and mulch or looking at what we have money wise left, maybe hydro seed, just because it's more effective and actually
Yeah.
takes quicker.
Are those the only roads on the ditching
That
project
is
this
the-
year?
That's the only ones required for
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
The up and coming Busy Hill, like I said, we started on that. My plans for it were brush cutting, doing some ditching. We tried to just go ahead, get them road material on there just because it was bare bones, just to make it more passable. They had called about it saying that it was getting a little rough. I went out there, saw what it was, kind of made it a little higher priority based off the needs of what they have up there. Other upcoming work is McIntosh Pond Road. There's gonna be a culvert replacement on there. Dairy Hill, there's a culvert replacement near the town line. Pleasant Street project. Our portion is finished.
Okay,
The only thing we have left to do is go in and do the final cleanup. After Jake Mayer is finished doing his extension onto it. Where we'll have to go in, fix where the excavator scuffed up the ground. And then do our finish work with seeding and mulching just to make the job look clean. And with that, Jake Mayer is approximately a month out on doing the final pave for that project.
Hmm.
He wants to let it compact a little bit,
oh, okay,
so that way just natural compaction. Then he's gonna go in, remove his material, and then lay his pavement in after that.
But the actual work is all,
Our portion of that project
well, and
is,
besides the finish work, Jake
Right.
is also done, right? Like everything's closed up and,
no,
no.
Jake still has to do his portion to connect on Mr. Anderson's.
Oh,
property.
okay,
Our 80 feet that we were responsible for is in, covered
okay.
and finished.
Cool.
The status of maintenance. Right now I have truck 24 is at Reed's, has an AC issue. The AC was worked on that, I believe. Late summer, early fall of last year, and it was a warranty item. They were able to, it has the telecom program where they can. Basically go on the computer, come into the truck, diagnose it on the spot. They found there's a low pressure sensor. They think it may be something related to the previous work. So I have that truck down there. The earliest time they can set an actual date is the end of next week to have it fixed. But if it was already down there and something opens up, they can bring it in, get it back
Okay.
on the road. I drove that truck the other day and it was unbearable being in it without AC.
I bet it was.
So I don't wanna, if I myself is having a problem with it, I don't wanna put the guys in that situation. I wanna get it rectified. Truck 22 is having electrical issues. It's dying as it goes down the road. That is down at ATG in Lebanon. I drove it down there this morning and it died 18 times on the way down.
You counted 18 times.
18 times. I wanted to have the exact number so I could tell them exactly what it's doing, when and how often.
Where is that going? In West Ham?
ATG, the Freightliner dealership,
Why doesn't it go to,
Lucky's was over 2 weeks out with a repair date. And ATG could get it in there today and start looking at it.
oh, okay. Cool.
So for time wise and efficiency with the projects we have going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't be down 2 trucks.
No.
So. The backhoe. I called for service on that 3 weeks ago. It was due for a 500-hour service. The hydraulic selector in the boom that allows you to go from the ditching bucket that it has to the clamshell bucket was not working properly. It hadn't been for a while. I called to have it serviced, and also the pistons in the front clam bucket were also leaking. They came out to do the work. I noticed the following week after they came on a Friday when I was not in, still leaking hydraulic bucket, and the ditching in the clam bucket in the rear did not work. So I've been playing phone tag with them, trying to find out why the job didn't get done. What needs to be done. They're now trying to find the pistons to replace in the front because the pistons are non-repairable. They're just so far gone that they said you just better off new ones. And they're trying to locate a hydraulic selector kit. Just because that machine being an older piece of equipment, trying to find the parts for it is deeming a little
I'm gonna be sorry I asked, but how old is the back?
15 years old.
Yeah, I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
Why is that old
yeah.
for a backhoe? That's old? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't remember.
for what
You
it gets
remember- You
used,
remember the grader we had all the issues with?
Hmm,
That was 20 years old.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
How many hours on the back one?
7,300 and some change. I think it's 7,392.
Is it a John Deere?
Yes,
What do you think?
Does that sound like a lot, Larry?
I got one that's got 6,800, it's pretty good shape.
Okay,
That's older than that, but there again, those cylinders, if you can't find any cylinders, I can give you a phone number down in Hooksett, New Hampshire, they take them down and they'll fix them, they'll replace whatever needs replaced, put them back in, away you go.
okay. I told John Deere just
Curtis
to get the
Hydraulic,
pistons coming because
I've done a lot of cylinder work through them, that stuff that we couldn't repair because the parts weren't available. They can do the piston, they can do the cylinder. They got a room 3 times as big as this one, just full of seal kits and O-rings and and that kind of stuff's amazing. I went up, sneaked around and see what they had for inventory. It's crazy. Yeah, so that could help out to get the cylinders, and I'm sure there'd be a lot less than new ones,
Correct.
a lot less. And they're pretty good turnaround time too. We take it down and they either ship it back if they can. If they can't, you can go back down. It takes about an hour, 10 minutes or something to get there.
You probably need that for ditching, yeah?
So the ditching that we have coming up, we can get away with using our excavator. There's not that many spots in that area that we're gonna do that we can't get away with the excavator. There's a couple spots, it's gonna be a little tricky, but we're gonna work with it. The backhoe's just. It's not adequate, it's outdated. The technology with it is not productive enough, as we found with the Pleasant Street project. For the state ditching project, the job has to be certain parameters, and we have to do it in a certain time frame. And we can't be dilly-dallying around trying to use a piece of equipment that's a shovel compared to a big payloader. Next thing is all the trucks now have inspectable tires on them. And we have a back stock of extra tires now in stock so that we do not have to go down that road again. We're waiting on engine oil through Royal Auto right now to start doing our in-house oil changes.
Okay,
And then we're gonna start, my plan is I want, cause we're roughly, if we put on the miles that we're doing with hauling our own material, once a month, we're doing oil changes.
okay,
I mean, cause here to Lebanon,
yeah,
you're putting on quite a bit of miles. And then depending on what we're doing, that's gonna be the time frame. My thought process is if we can do one a week, if we're putting that many miles on. If we have the oil in stock, we can get them done once a week. We can bust it out in an hour in the morning, do it while the truck's cold, be done with it, move on for the day. We now have all the filter numbers we needed for all the trucks, so we can start ordering our own filters to have them in stock. One thing I wanted to bring up and see, I'd like to implement pre-trip logbooks. So that way, some of the accountability of the truck maintenance now goes on to the drivers. So that they have to go and check their trucks, make sure that they are up to where they're supposed to be per DOT standards. And then look at the reports during the week, or if they have something come up. Something I'd like to implement, if the select board's okay with it.
You bet.
yeah,
You bet. That should have been done a long time ago.
Another thing when I was looking at the logbooks, cause we used to use one when I worked at Aspen Tree. And they were an FD 514 and it listed everything in the truck. I couldn't find one that was specific for a dump truck. It was either a pre-logbook or a maintenance log, and I wanted to get both and kind of see how they work and then go from there. So that way the guys are more accountable for what they're operating. And then the supervisor at that point can look, okay, these guys are checking their trucks out. Or if there is something wrong, at that point, we now have a paper trail of when did it happen? We can move forward from there. So
this all sounds lovely, Adam.
I'm just, plans that I wanna implement and go forward with. Work completed. We did a culvert replacement on Fisher Road. At the intersection of Johnson Hill and Fisher. And we also resurfaced Fisher from the culvert up to the turnaround at the Timian's driveway. We still have to put the top coat on Johnson Hill on that intersection and over that culvert, but we have sub-base material. And then when doing the project, we actually expanded the roadway a little bit. In future thoughts with the school bus issue on Johnson Hill, that now allows a perfect spot for a school bus to turn around, and we actually made the road so it does not have too steep of a grade coming off of Fisher. It was kind of a pre-planning thought when we were looking at it. We can go ahead and do that because I know that's been an issue. In the past, the school bus did not have a safe place to turn around. So we're trying to give a spot where it could do that.
Well. Oh, and you had suggested like. that
You-
later in the year, we get together with the school board to talk about turnarounds.
the school board should be talking to Adam about where they want.
Yeah, and this is what we discussed before, the school, that we should have a meeting with the school board and actually say where is a safe spot
Yeah.
to turn around, because I know that it was brought up by Mr. Coogan that the children on Johnson Hill either have to walk to the bottom of Johnson Hill where it meets Royalton Hill at the Four Corners, or they have to be driven down to there. And it was unfair to the families that they have to provide extra to get the kids to the bus versus where it used to come up on Johnson Hill and turn around across from Mr. Coogan's driveway. So, other items I had, in talks with Ryan and Todd Eaton from Vermont Local Roads. I wanna host an OSHA 10 class. So
Okay.
that way we can have all of our guys OSHA 10 certified. That covers all your basic safeties, do's and do nots. I attended a class in Springfield. Most of the guys that were in that class, except for 3, all had less than 7 months experience in the job, and we're all OSHA 10 certified. Most of our guys are 2 years plus. I was kind of embarrassed.
Okay,
So I feel like for safety moving forward, if everyone's on that same page. At that point, if we were to have an OSHA. I don't know what you call it, but an OSHA
incident,
incident. Everyone at that point is now a competent operator.
okay,
So instead of having one individual or whoever, everybody at that point is a competent operator. But Todd Eaton is on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So he said after that, talk with him and try to see what can work into the schedule. We'd have to have it as a 2-day class where it's 10 hours. So
okay.
Is that something that would be appropriate for the transfer station as well?
absolutely.
John?
It's across the board.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm here.
You wanna hook up with Adam about this OSHA 10 class?
Yep, I can, we can set up a time to chat about it.
great.
Anybody else that should be involved?
Yeah, is there anybody else in town that we should be thinking about, John or Adam, that maybe could use this class?
The sewer plant?
Yeah, I don't know how this, I mean, the sewer plant would work where
Yeah,
they're a subcontractor.
right,
Should we offer Cameron who works?
Yes, Cameron,
Oh,
with
yeah.
building and grounds.
absolutely. Good thought, no.
It's just something, it gives everybody that baseline safety aspect. So,
I think both from a safety and a liability point of view, it makes perfect sense.
the other thing I had on my list was 301 Ducker Road. It's the first house on the left as you're going out Ducker. We've had a couple instances where we've had issues with that property. Either equipment or we'll call it stuff.
Bulldozer,
Stuff
vehicles.
in our right of way and impeding on our work performance.
Where's Ducker? I forget.
Off Dairy Hill, just past.
By John Deere, take a left.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
The old Dow place.
I would say 95% of the time there's a car in the road. When Roger was just out there mowing, he could barely mow by there. He had to have the mower all the way up and could not mow near there. I've been through there with our dump trucks. You have to have your wing up, your plow kicked all the way back the other side, just to get past there. We had an issue this winter that was addressed and he kind of made a little room to get his car in. I don't know how we could proceed with talking with the landowner about what we can do to get things away from the road to make it safer for our maintenance portion and for his property.
That's gonna be a Loretta thing.
yeah.
That's
I
gotta
think
be
that's a
Loretta.
Loretta thing, so,
We need to talk to Loretta.
yeah,
Cause I believe she went up there this winter and talked to
did
them.
she, okay, you and I were talking, she's away this week. So let's you and I touch base and
Okay.
then, we'll talk to Loretta and see. Plan of action,
That was Fred, and it's under a trust right now. We might wanna talk to Walter or somebody,
okay,
see who the trust is and see. Fred Henry is the name, who is living there, but it's his parents and they put it into a trust.
okay,
And Walter told me that was, cause I had some issues myself up there. And, but I haven't taken the time to find out who is responsible for in the trust.
Okay,
But Walter could probably tell you that.
we'll sort that out.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you,
thank
Adam.
you.
That was very thorough,
That
Adam.
was very thorough.
Good job.
Yeah,
Thank you. Could we, maybe bump the next three items?
I was gonna say, well, John's here, let's talk to him briefly, and then we'll bump the next two items, okay? Thanks, Adam. John,
Yeah, I'll be quick. So I've gotten some positive feedback about the whole Alliance fee, obviously from Alliance members. I guess I'm requesting tonight to, if we can push it back, start date to the first of the year. I think instead of getting all new, two different color number cards printed up, I think we'll stick with the white ones and then get a different color printed up, starting after the number of white ones we have. And then just post it well that, Alliance members need to get a colored card. And then after the first of the year, if you have a white card, you'll be charged this fee.
okay,
So I think that amount of time will be enough because Penny's been on vacation, so the number cards are going to be in production here in the next week. And so that'll give us a few months to get cards issued and then implement it the first of the year.
sounds reasonable. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good, John. Add that on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll skip the next two, come back to them. Main event, Roxanne Bridge. And look, we're not that far behind, yeah,
Find one where.
yeah, wherever you wanna,
Hang out in the corner here.
by the,
Boss.
safely by the door.
Exactly. I am there. Good answer.
All right, so, thanks for coming, folks, maybe just introduce yourself to the room.
Sure, so I'm Jim LaCroix, I'm the state bridge engineer for V-Trans and the structures program manager. And I have with me John McPherson, the project manager for the Foxton Bridge, and Laura Stone is the scoping manager and engineer for the Foxton Bridge. And we're here to listen to what you have to say, answer any questions that you have. We know there's a lot of them. And John has some information in a presentation. I don't know if it's easy enough to share, but we can certainly get into that if we want to. But really, we're just here to sort of listen to the town's concerns, discuss alternatives with you, and figure out which direction you want to go, because we have to move forward with a decision on whether or not we're going to go with the temporary bridge.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're here to listen and open it up to questions and answer anything to the best of our ability, so.
Okay,
First, I want to ask a question, that Dylan and Tom brought up. Is it possible to put a temporary bridge across the bridge that's there right now? It is,
No, because of the size of the
And
and the
geometry,
geometry of the temporary bridge, it won't fit through there.
we're grade constrained by the railroad on one side, and so then in order to go over the bridge with the depth of the new bridge, you'd be significantly higher. And then you'd also have to be beyond the abutments, so it'd be significantly longer, so that would shorten the approach and make it much higher, so you wouldn't be able to make any sort of standard road to work to go up and over.
Plus, wouldn't you have to remove that to work on the replacement bridge?
Remove the existing bridge, I guess.
No, remove the temporary that.
We would have to move it, yeah, to replace the new bridge, that's correct.
How long would that take? Cause you say you have to remove it, okay, so you remove it and you're gonna wait 3 years while you're building a new one?
So we currently cannot remove the existing structure because it is historically significant. And there is a lengthy process to go through to be able to do that with the Department of Transportation.
Yeah, what I was saying was on the temporary bridge.
Yep.
You said you had to remove it to work on redoing the bridges there right now.
We could look at going off alignment with the new bridge and not move it, but again, because of the geometry issues in that area, we can't really put the temporary bridge over the top of the existing.
Right.
So I know, but what you said was that while you were working on the new bridge or fixing the problem, the temporary bridge would have to be shut down.
No,
No,
That's-
definitely.
that-
they were saying if we tried
If
to
we put it
stick
on-
one in there.
Shut it
Yeah,
down.
yeah, right,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying.
No.
Oh,
No, if it's beside the existing
Yeah.
bridge,
Okay.
traffic would be on the temporary bridge while work occurred
On the,
on the new bridge. Or the rehabilitation.
But it's still an option to put the new bridge where we had talked about doing the temporary bridge before, right?
So it's an option, so with the historic structure, it's a 4F property. So there's a process, so transportation, federal transportation funds, when they're used, they have this clause that basically says you need to avoid 4F properties. And if you can't avoid, you need to minimize, and then if you can't minimize, it needs to be the only prudent and feasible alternative, or else you're not allowed to use federal highway funds for transportation projects that have adverse effects on historic properties. So the two parcels beside the bridge are 4F properties, and then the bridge itself is a historic 4F property. So, and then to make it a little more complex, so you can do it, but there's a differing procedural level for 4F reviews. There's one that occurs at the Vermont Division of Federal Highway, and then there's what they call a circulated 4F, which goes to Washington DC. If you go off alignment, that automatically triggers and you have an adverse effect, that triggers the circulated 4F. Ask me how I know. We have a project we're doing in Rockingham, Bellows Falls right now. And my circulated 4F, my NEPA has been going on for 5 years. So we would avoid that alternative at all costs because it's not very efficient. So staying on alignment with the existing bridge, if there is a new bridge, the 4F adverse effect gets circulated at the Vermont Division Federal Highway Office. We know those people, we can call them on the phone and talk to them. So that it's still procedural, there's still hoops you have to jump through to meet the 4F requirements, but it's less bureaucratic than the circulated 4F.
Is that for either a temporary bridge or a permanent bridge?
The temporary bridge doesn't technically have an adverse effect because it's temporary and the existing bridge isn't being touched right now. So they basically put blinders on and say, okay, well, we know in the future you're going to do something, but we're not doing anything now. So it's a de minimis 4F finding. So the temporary bridge can be done more efficiently because 4F is not an adverse effect. So that's really the biggest kind of unknown to our project schedule is the 4F part of it and the eligibility of the federal funds for
Okay.
4F.
Yeah, don't even know what, but so by putting a temporary bridge in, you're giving yourself lead time. So that you can get to 4S and everything else. Without a temporary bridge, this thing could be tied up till 2035.
So the 4F, and I'll talk a little bit about it. So the way the 4F works is every project for federal highway funds is supposed to have a purpose and need statement. And so the way they evaluate adverse effects or they evaluate the prudent and feasibleness is whether or not the alternative you selected meets your purpose and need statement. So let's just say, for example, your purpose and need statement says that we need to restore access across the river and we only need to maintain access to lightweight vehicles. So by that purpose and need statement, we would do a rehabilitation of the existing bridge there, and it would be rehabilitated to allow light duty vehicles, but they would remain posted. It would remain, undersized. But that would be the only allowable alternative because now from that 4F perspective, you couldn't justify a replacement bridge because your purpose and need doesn't require that.
Yeah.
So it's really important that the purpose and need statement is really thoroughly vetted as part of scoping, which is what we're doing now is scoping. So if the town has needs for the bridge, for whatever the future crossing looks like, it's really important to
let us know what those are so that they can be used in crafting that purpose and needs statement, because that's how Fed Highway is gonna review 4F down the road.
For example, if you want unrestricted emergency access across the bridge, including like fire trucks, we would want to know that you wanted a bridge that could go to full standard highway capacities. If you don't need that, it's very likely that we're probably going to have to rehabilitate the existing bridge.
But if your purpose and needs statement has an alternative that we can't achieve with a rehabilitation, then that means that rehabilitation is not feasible. Therefore, you have a method to choose a different alternative when they do the 4F review.
What's the weight limit on the light duty, alternative?
I don't know that offhand.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the axle configuration of your vehicles and, span of the bridge, and you'd have to just evaluate what you had for emergency vehicles or what you could anticipate having in the future. And make a determination on whether or not the bridge in a rehabilitated state could even carry those loads.
And that's something that'll be determined in the scoping process. So whether we place a temporary bridge or not, when we determine what we're gonna do with that final permanent project, we'll know pretty early on what that capacity can be.
Okay, we've got had a hand up for a while here. Stephen? Is that you?
Yes, that's me. Thank you. So I think my first question for context for everyone, because our number one concern is how long is it going to take? As a fire engineer of the state and in construction, I do understand, there's a significant process to go through in meeting federal highway requirements. So I think for me, as somebody on the other side of the bridge, what I'd like to know, what is the current timeline? Could you describe, the general process from the point you're at right now in scoping through design and then release of a contract to bid and then to build, and then the, roughly estimated time to construct the bridge, which obviously would be driven by the approved design. So that's the main timeline. And then if we felt it necessary or the town felt like they could do a rehabilitated bridge instead of a full replacement, what the difference in the timeline might be. I think that's our biggest concern as users of the bridge is how long is it going to take from right now to a new bridge without implementing the temporary bridge?
So if we can get the programmatic 4F and we can do it with the Vermont Division Office, generally the process is about a year to get to NEPA. But we will be working on the design concurrently, and we're fairly confident that without this going to Washington DC, that we would be ready to start construction in 2027. But this will be a 2-year construction project. And so you can expect it will be late fall of 2028 before the bridge is open to traffic.
And that's like, and that's the best.
2028.
Oh.
Two construction seasons, 27, 28.
27, 28 construction seasons.
And that is like, if everything goes perfectly.
Yeah, it's not the design. It really is the permitting aspect here, and it's not something that the Agency of Transportation has a lot of control over.
However, we do have, connections with all of the different regulators that we can kind of on with our urgent projects. The problem that we've had in the last 2 years is that we've had a lot of urgent projects, right, with unplanned storm events. So that's definitely been a little bit of a slog in the schedule, but we usually have a pretty good success rate at delivering on urgent projects on schedule or within a very narrow window of that schedule, plus or minus a month.
Just a clarifying question, is that for the rehabilitated bridge or is that for a new bridge, that timeline you guys just described?
That would probably apply to both options, honestly, because the rehabilitation is pretty extensive. The design work for the rehabilitation is going to be more challenging. And then once construction starts, there's going to be a rehabilitation would most likely mean taking the bridge off from the river, putting it nearby, disassembling it because the entire bottom of the bridge needs basically replacement. And then, so then there's a lot of field measuring and fit up to make sure the new structural steel fits up correctly with the old structural steel. And then because we're gonna be targeting a higher rating, that could mean new verticals, new diagonals, all new gussets. Those are all riveted, so they get to get drilled out and then they have to be rebolted. So it's a significant amount of time and just the false work needed to crane that bridge off of that location. It's a large bridge, it's very heavy, temporary work. It'd have to be moved and then it'd have to be put back. So the duration, it might go to construction sooner, but the completion date I would expect would be comparable.
And then my follow-up is, if the timeline is about the same between those two bridges, is there a financial advantage to going with the rehabilitation? Because clearly it would limit what we can use the bridge for.
So the rehabilitation costs, we're doing one of these right now that just went out to bid and it awarded for what, $8 million? But it was smaller than this bridge. I think it was 40 feet shorter. 40, sure. So this would be more expensive than 8 million for a rehabilitation, a comparable rehabilitation scope. And it would have a shorter service life and more maintenance and, you know, lower serviceability. So a new bridge is probably gonna be a little less than that. Not a lot less, but I think we're estimating right around 6 to 7 million for a new bridge.
So is there any reason to go rehabilitation?
So there is an advantage to the town. Because the town would only be responsible for a 5% share instead of the 10% share.
2.5% if the bridge remains closed.
Right, if we don't put in a temporary bridge and we move forward just the permanent project and the bridge is closed to traffic, the town's responsibility is 2.5% of the total project cost.
For rehabilitation.
Right.
And it would be 5% if it remains closed for a replacement.
Correct.
Yeah. But 5% of a lower number, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, here.
So the rehab, if you want strict dollars, the rehab is going to be less cost to the town. It's going to be more costly to the state and federal highway, less costly.
Shorter service life and we can't run emergency vehicles.
Shorter service life,
And potentially you can't put emergency vehicles over it. There's a possibility we can do that.
We would look at using, there's some new stuff like ultra high performance concrete, so we can look at thinner decks that reduce dead load, which increase the carrying capacity. So there's stuff we could do to try and juice up the load rating.
There's also other lightweight deck systems that we can look
Have to
at.
get built,
So,
so.
it's possible that we could still make it so you could have emergency vehicles.
But you got town trucks with plows and sanded weighing 65,000 pounds.
More than that, Larry.
More than that,
And that's what we would need to know to evaluate.
100,000 for the 3 axles, mighty.
See all the logging trucks that go across there.
Yep.
And, horse trucks. Those are about there, but the gravel trucks that go past there.
In the meantime, while all this is happening, is anybody keeping an eye on the Bridge Street Bridge, which is now picking up even heavier loads than it's supposed to be taking up? So I don't wanna
Exactly.
run into this again for over there.
Exactly.
So yes, the agency is keeping an eye on it. We do. I'm not sure if that bridge is on an annual inspection cycle or a 2-year inspection cycle yet. We could certainly have them inspect it every year. If that was a desire of the town, if they're not doing it.
It just,
We were told it was in fine shape.
can we just move the bridge, put it in someplace else?
But it's historic.
Yeah, but the bridge itself is bad. So as long as you keep it.
So what they're,
Just put it aside.
What are those inspections if, like, for instance, this bridge was inspected and it came back with suggestions, and it seemed like things did not get fixed. Did that contribute to why this is broken, or, and like, what is the normal response for inspections and things that say, hey, you should do this?
Our recommendation obviously is anytime you get a bridge inspection finding from our bridge inspectors that you should take care of the issues as they arise.
Did we,
Did we take care of any?
anybody know the answer to that?
Or did you just?
In 2020, I think there was something that came up and during that time.
we might have gotten an extension on the life of that bridge because of the priority thing, the list of priorities. I think that's what I remember from the history of this bridge, but this has been inspected over the years. I mean, it was, what's that?
We got inspected after our reading.
It got a lot of work done
It
on
had,
it.
It's inspected every 2 years.
Yeah,
It had debris under the bridge from Irene, and that was, we were told to remove that, so we did.
Yeah.
But as far as,
you guys, we weren't told if anything was broken or breaking or anything after Irene. See, I don't remember.
yeah, it was, I mean, it got repaired, it was washed completely out and the abutment
Right,
was worked on for, I forget how long it was closed.
right. The abutment, but what about?
So I will say the truss structure itself, once, you have bottom gusset plates, areas are exposed to salt and things like that. They can start to corrode relatively rapidly, specifically with this type of bridge. Which isn't well protected. I mean, there is a paint system that was on it, but that probably had deteriorated a long time ago. And so, they start
Maintain
to,
our bridge very well.
they start to deteriorate quite rapidly, and it's just the nature of these bridges. We have similar issues.
Salt gets stuck in the faces, right? Like, it's plowed off the side and it just gets stuck there, and so it's.
So because of this historical thing, we're gonna have the same bridge again?
Not necessarily.
Right.
You guys own the bridge, you guys know what your town needs are. It's really important that you think about what your needs are, because the whole federal funding predicates on meeting the purpose and need of the project, which is flushed out during scoping. So ideally, this is kind of the first time where you guys are thinking about, okay, we know we need to cross the river, but what does our crossing need to look like? What are our needs? And, I would say needs is a little better way than wants. Wants can be on the list, but, try and be specific. We need to cross with, town highway maintenance vehicles, right? They weigh this much. We need to cross with, emergency service vehicles. This is how much they weigh. Or we might want to purchase a new emergency service vehicle, so we want to bridge that rates out for any emergency service vehicle. So there's some things that help craft a very strong purpose and need statement. So that way, if the recommended alternative, so we have to evaluate every option. We're required to, as part of 4F, to look at all options that are void, minimize, before we look at the adverse. So we are looking at a rehabilitation alternative through scoping, and we are looking at new bridge alternative through scoping. But to pick a recommended alternative that has the adverse effect, it's got to meet the purpose and need and be and prove that there's no other feasible or prudent alternative that can meet the purpose and need other than the recommended one. So, and that can include cost. Prudent can be cost. It's not irrelevant of dollars.
Why can't we get the temporary bridge at the same cost? Why are we getting kind of given this thing of if you don't take that temporary bridge, you can have this cheaper real bridge? Why are we getting kind of played like that,
Act 153.
It's state statute.
It's statutory.
2012, prior to 2012, the town share for town highway bridge projects was always 10%. Act 153 came through and said town share is reduced by 50% by rehabilitating instead of replacing, and it's reduced 50% for not constructing a temporary bridge.
Okay.
The reason for it is we had a lot of bridges to do after our region, right? It's 2012. And when you put in a temporary bridge, you double the footprint of your projects. You double your permitting area, and you right of way acquisitions. You add $500,000 to $1 million of cost to the project. So when you choose to close the road for a construction project, it saves money, saves time, saves impacts, and it lets you streamline a project. The temporary bridges add a lot of complexity just from the regulatory perspective. So that Act 153 was to incentivize participation in the accelerated bridge program, which V-Trans developed.
Excuse me. Apologize for interrupting. I think what we as a townsfolk are trying to understand, and we as the people that live on the other side of the bridge, you know, my friends, they have a business immediately the other side of the bridge. All of my friends are traveling additional miles to and from. The town is spending a significant amount of money to provide additional maintenance to those places and compensate townsfolk for, you know, various issues or damages. You know, there's a lot of time and money, both directly and indirectly, associated with the delay. We've already waited 2 years for an updated status. You know, we were of the understanding that a temporary bridge was potentially going to be installed this year. We understand. I mean, as a contractor, I understand that there are delays and impacts. But I would say that not just the inconvenience, but the other additional direct and indirect costs, the impact to emergency services, the additional impact to a newly rehabilitated bridge at River Street are all significant costs, and you know, some of which we can't associate dollars to, like I was saying. So for us to wait an additional 2 years in an ideal situation for the bridge to be installed and then wait another 2 years after that. So a total of, you know, 4 years potentially. We've already waited 2 years. I think we really need to explore this temporary bridge situation and understand that there's an additional cost, but we can't wait another 4 years of going down these other avenues, you know, the other roads we have to take and all the direct and indirect expenses associated with it. I think we'd really like to pursue what it's going to take to get the temporary bridge, how soon we could get that temporary bridge installed, and as a townspeople understand that that additional cost is going to, like, they're insignificant to the cost we're going to spend if we don't do the temporary bridge.
Have you been on Gilman Road or Back River Road?
I just did today.
Okay, you know, it's narrow.
Yeah.
You know, there's no guardrails where there should be. I mean, it is a safety issue, and even to get emergency services out there, that's a huge issue. And for 4 years, for us have to keep driving those roads when the majority of us didn't even have hardly any dirt to drive on. It becomes a safety issue. I mean, the town can only hit so many dirt roads at a time. So a lot of times ours that Back River Road doesn't get hit till later in the day. Last winter, it was 7:30, 8 o'clock before anyone ever got there. So
Usually hitting around the time that we take the kids to school.
actually, so anyone that goes to work before that, they're kind of out of luck if they're a sheet of ice, or they're trying to dig themselves through snow up that hill by the horse farm, and that's a huge drop off. And Gilman Road, there's a huge drop off there with no guardrail, and there's bad areas. The sun doesn't get to it, it freezes up.
I understand. I would offer this to the town, that if we moved forward with a temporary bridge, it would likely, the project would remain in the program, but we likely wouldn't get around to building a new structure probably for another 8 or 9 years. Because you would have the temporary structure and it wouldn't be an urgent situation like it is now. And federal highway allows us to use federal funds to install a temporary bridge, purchase and install a temporary bridge, and leave it in place for up to 10 years.
What are the limitations on the temporary bridge? If we did go with the temporary bridge of that span, is there a weight limit that we have?
There is no weight limit. It would be full capacity structure, illegal load.
Limit, but it'd be a legal load.
And it's a single.
They load rate very high, so I think you would be fine. But I would just say it's a single lane.
Yeah.
It's bridge.
Yeah, right, sure.
It's no lane right now.
Yeah.
Another sort of logistical question. I know right now the temporary bridge we can't have immediately because it is in use somewhere else.
That, so,
And
well, that's not the case necessarily. We just don't have the inventory, right? And we also don't have the components to install a bridge of that span. So we literally need to purchase the bridge because we don't have a bridge currently in our inventory that can span the over 200 feet that we would need to do to span the river there.
yeah, the question I was gonna have, I think still applies. Is there a world in which an emergent situation happens before it gets installed here? That means that bridge goes somewhere else?
We're
Or would it
specifically
be-
purchasing it for this location.
Okay, I was like imagining some sort of flood event and it's like, sorry, you guys can drive around this town to get you anything. The temporary bridge now belongs to Ducks Ferry or something.
I'm confused though, because I thought, we were told that we were supposed to get it in this spring 25, but the job went over. And the bridge that we were going to be using it for was still in occupation
Yes.
in another town,
Middlesex, yes, so there was a 180 foot span temporary bridge that we were planning to use at this location. But just based on the subsurface information that we received, it was going to need a really tall, expensive abutment. And so we really need longer than a 180 foot span. The design just wasn't working out. So we kind of switched gears and said, you know, if we're gonna put a temporary bridge here, we're gonna need to purchase a 220 foot span.
And we get to rent it from you.
So we no longer have to build the special abutments that.
You have two choices. It could be 5% of the project, and we've sort of done the math on this. Or if you rent it from us, it's going to end up being the same thing. We'll provide those exact numbers to you, so you have them, but over the long term, it would end up costing approximately the same.
I just have a quick question. There's a bridge that was in Hanover that just opened. Not Hanover, but up the road up 14. And it finally,
VA bypass.
the VA bypass bridge.
Yes.
And the temporary bridge has been there as long as I have ever lived here. I haven't lived here that long, but as long as I've known, the temporary bridge was there. And then they finally opened it. So how many years did they have their temporary bridge?
Well, he just said we could have it for up to 10 years, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess I'm not sure which temporary bridge you're referring to. That bridge was in service
Yeah,
when it was closed a few times, so the town could do some repairs, but there was no temporary bridge there. That was a temporary work bridge for the contractor.
yeah,
There were people crossing that.
Right,
Yeah.
when they were building it,
when they were building.
because the contractor was using it to access the new bridge.
Okay, Joe, you had a question?
Yes, thank you, Patrick. I would like to add a comment to the contrary of some of the comments being made right now. I really want to listen to the engineers that are here to speak about what our options are. And I also just want to make a point that there are plenty of other people who already have to drive the kind of distance that these malcontents are complaining about in their everyday life. It is not so difficult. And if we have to pay a whole lot more to convenience this group, how come we have to pay that?
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
And also, I don't want to promise anything, and this is just another sort of wrinkle in this for you all to think about, but there was in this financial bill, under federal highway that we're in right now, the IIJ transportation bill, they set aside a bunch of money for off-system bridges, and they said you can spend 100% federal funds on these bridges. There is a chance that that is in the next authorization, which is supposed to come out in October of 26, I believe. It is certainly not a guarantee that that's a possibility. You know, it's certainly possible, but it's not guaranteed. We're not in Washington. We don't know what they're thinking. They haven't told us whether or not they're going to reauthorize that portion of the bill or not. So we don't have an answer for that right now. You would essentially, if you do put in a temporary bridge, you would have two reauthorizations where they could have language in there that relieves communities of participating in the funding for the project. It is certainly not guaranteed. I have no knowledge that that's gonna happen. I don't know how it gains such knowledge. We usually don't get the information until the bill's released. But that being said, it is something that could happen.
Great.
What's an off-system bridge?
It's non-federal aid system, so it's any town road.
Okay.
You mean,
Essentially.
that could, I'm so confused because it's like a lot of,
Sure.
legal
Yeah,
mumbo jumbo here
Sure.
but you're saying that would relieve us, if we took the temporary bridge, potentially, there's a bill that could go into effect that would then say, we don't,
for the replacement structure,
we would get, it would be good for us.
right, federal, we could potentially, if the reauthorization is similar to the language in the existing bill, we could give the town a bridge at no cost to the town for construction. You would still have to pay design
I like that.
and right of way, but again, there is no guarantee that that is gonna come out in the next reauthorization.
There's really no guarantee of anything though, so I
Right.
think that,
I would mention, so when we started down this path of placing a temporary bridge here, this bridge was under those IIJA funds, but then those funds dried up. So when we started down this path, the town thought that they were getting 100% federal funding for that temporary bridge. So the town received a letter back in, it was either December or January, that those funds dried up. And that's kind of what changed from a funding perspective, just so the community understands that. There was kind of a shift in what the town share was going to be.
But again, a reauthorization would allow us to put this bridge in that program.
If the money exists and.
If the money is
yeah.
there.
So with the short things that we have,
Yes.
you know, the options we have right now, as far as going ahead with something, what's the best alternative? Does that still depend on what we're gonna use it for, or?
I mean, knowing what you know and knowing what the share is currently based on existing laws. We're sort of asking you, this is your structure.
Yeah.
We're going to deliver it as fast as we can. If you want a temporary bridge, the state and our federal partners are willing to put one in. At a 5% share for the community.
of 3 million, 5% of 3 million.
That's
That-
the estimated cost. It would be 5% of the actual cost. The actual cost based on bid prices.
And is that include the 10-year rental?
It will, right? It will include the 10-year rental. If you pay the 5% of the bridge, buying the bridge,
Okay.
the purchase price of the bridge. If you choose to rent from us. And we do it that way, we can, I think the state would cover the 20% share, federal highway would be 80%. You would rent the bridge from us at our normal rental prices, which unfortunately I don't have with me today, but we will certainly share those with you as early as tomorrow morning.
I was reading somewhere that it said we're also gonna be responsible for demolishing the temporary bridge, deconstruction of it. Is that included in these prices?
They won't demolish it.
It'd be the cost of deconstruction.
Yeah, deconstruct, they'll pull it basically off.
It'd be the cost of removing it.
Right.
Yeah, but are those included in this 300,000?
No, those would be part of the new project cost. So that's, then when you send out the new
Those-
contract for the new bridge,
Those will be baked into
that'd be
the,
baked into the new bridge contract, so those costs of 6 to 7 million would include the removal of the bridge. And it's important to note that these costs are all today's dollars. We have seen a pretty steady increase in construction costs that have been about 5% per year for the last 7 years.
In 10 years.
So just know that, you know, we're talking today's dollars, not necessarily what they might be in the future, so there's some.
Yeah. So the 220-foot bridge would be about $525 a month for the town to rent.
525?
$300.
But you would still have to pay for all of the substructure work and the launching of the bridge at 5%. That would just be a cost to rent the actual bridge structure itself.
And,
A month.
yeah, so just to put real numbers to what Jonathan was just talking about, the $6 million bridge, which is the low end of current estimates.
Yeah.
Correct.
If this bridge was delayed until 2035, it would then cost us just under $10 million
At a 5%.
at a 5% increase
Yes.
each year.
I'm sorry, the permanent bridge?
The permanent, the permanent project instead of, so the numbers we were throwing around before with our share of $6 million with or without a temporary bridge. Okay? You following so far now?
Yeah.
So $6 million, today's numbers would be, without the temporary bridge would be $300,000. If we get a temporary bridge, we have to pay the 10%. And
No, it jumps up to 10% if we take that temporary bridge.
Right.
That's the little.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
2.5%. It can be 0%, 2.5%.
2.5, no,
That's.
2.5.
If it's a rehab, if
So,
it's
the
a rehabilitation,
Yeah, so there's three sets of numbers now. 2.5 is rehab without temporary bridge. 5% is without temporary bridge, new bridge. 10% is with temporary bridge,
New bridge.
Yeah.
anything, right? Basically,
Right.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So-
Or that special little maybe,
yeah.
that would be zero.
But anyway, the bottom line I'm trying to make clear when we think about this is the difference between today's dollars, which probably wouldn't even be $27. Without a temporary bridge is $300,000.
Mhm.
In 2035 with a temporary bridge,
Uh-huh,
the town share
10 mil.
goes up to, no, the town share goes up over $1 million, $1.1 million.
The total is 10.
So but basically they're looking at best case scenario and worst case scenario. So,
Unadjusted for inflation.
And
Thanks, Greg.
This, real numbers.
I mean, it does give the town
That's
10
just the
years
range
to
we're talking
consider
about.
funding
yes,
opportunities
Yes.
to sort of save money for this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
while we're servicing debt on a bond already, yeah.
The other,
Well,
the other part, like I said, is that we don't have a number to is in that time. So if we go with a temporary bridge, yes, we acknowledge we're gonna have to pay more on the back end. Definitely value in discussing that and looking at projected numbers. It's then, okay, what's the savings on the town and the people who are affected by not having a temporary bridge? Does that cost offset it? Does the quality of life, our access to emergency vehicles, do all of those things offset the increase from a $600,000 share to a $1 million share? And I think we need to, I think the town and the engineers, if they can, because they understand all the current construction costs, if they can put together a like scenario ABC impact, and the town can put together a projected impact to the taxpayers for damages and road maintenance, there's some actual numbers we can look at there, in addition to changing our ability to cross the river at that point from a year from now to, 4 years from now when we've already been out for 2 years.
You guys normally do like an analysis for what it means for the people that are affected by these bridges?
There's a user cost for detouring. I mean, it doesn't account for all of the other ancillary costs that were just mentioned, but there's like a federal highway guideline for user cost that we use to calculate our incentives and our disincentives when we close the state highway bridge, so we know how much we pay the contractor if they're early. So we could run it through that just to see. I don't really know what the number would be or exactly, I think there's 500 crossings per day, I think I saw it in before it was closed, yeah. So we could run it on that number and then we would take.
There were 500 crossings.
The counting was for 4 days and the average between 500 and 550 as well.
Get out.
And then we could take the distance of mileage.
I mean, I would agree with Stephen, yeah, I would agree with Stephen, who just spoke, that we should really also think about the cost on the town for the roads that we're gonna maintain that aren't meant to be traveled that in that way to that capacity. There's gonna be a cost there, there's gonna be a cost on that other bridge that's gonna get hit more and more and more. And there's gonna be a cost on, I think there's also a danger cost because we have a business on that road that does have, large animals and I don't think, on the road. And I think that there could be potentially a really dangerous situation, if this continues for another 5 years without a bridge.
So I looked, at the town plan. Royalton Hill Road is class 2 gravel. Back River Road and Gilman are class 3 gravel. Class 3 definition is suitable for pleasure driving, biking, lower traffic volumes. Class 2 is considered most important highways in each town and serve major connectors. So, I don't know if the definitions were from the town plan, but I got the rating from the town plan. And I looked up. So, Royalton Hill Road. I live up off from a little bit, but it was constant traffic before this closed all day. I work from home. I think those counts are probably a little now. Before the bridge closed. I think it was 2019 that I was done. So.
Yeah, so I did just some rough calculations. I'm not obviously qualified to do any of this stuff, but like it feels like each of the 80 properties up there. Dealing with 5 years of this is like, it's $13,000, $13,500 per property at least. And that's with just 70 cents a mile, IRS rebates. And that costs over $1 million now for the 80 parcels. Like, why are we comparing a $1 million potential cost and shoveling it onto, like Joe wants to do, all the people over here on that side of town? We're all malcontents because I have to pay $13,500 extra for my travel on these roads, and that's on good roads. That's not on class 3 roads. So like, you guys can do those you can provide that. That's not in the report you guys have ready for today, or?
No, so basically, one of the things we came here today to talk about was the scoping report is in development, and the team kind of pushed the pause button and switched to the design of the temporary bridge. So we put them back on the scoping report now after the last Selectboard decision. So they have a draft scoping report, which is due to us on August 18th. And I did request to meet with the Selectboard on August 19th, so you won't have a lot of time to review it, but we can kind of go through it, I can present it. I won't have a lot of time to review it either, but we can talk about it and then see what types of things are missing from it. Beat it up however you guys want and have a discussion about the draft and the alternatives. So we can inform the next iterations.
What is that, just like when you go to the site and look at things and you're mapping things out, is that what that means? So the scoping report will lay out each alternative. So rehabilitation, replacement alternatives with the different maintenance of traffic options. And it will put a cost to each of those. And it will make a recommendation of how the V-Trans believes that the town should proceed.
We won't have a recommendation for the draft scoping report because we don't have the purpose and need statement yet.
Yeah.
So once we have the needs from the town, then we can recommend alternative.
And I agree with everything Laura said, except for the fact that I believe that this temporary bridge issue is not part of the scoping report. If Royalton needs a bridge as soon as possible, we need to know as soon as possible so we can get it. We can order the bridge because there is some lead time. We need to develop a set of plans for a contractor to then install the bridge. We need to get it out to bid. And we need to start that as soon as we can. So, and the scoping report is not addressing that. It's addressing the needs at the site, whether or not we put in a temporary bridge during construction. It doesn't say, it's not going to address if the town wants a temporary bridge now.
Right. That's all for the new bridge alternative. So it's looking at 4 options, which are a minor rehabilitation, which means the critical bridge findings. I think you guys probably got a copy of that report from last year. So it's really very much a temporary repair, but it would get the bridge open to light duty traffic. Then it's a major rehabilitation, which basically corrects everything that we can correct with the bridge and bring it up to as good a condition as possible. And then it's a new bridge with a kind of a beam and girder, traditional kind of new standard bridge, or a new bridge, which is a truss bridge. So replacement with a new truss bridge alternative. Are the 4 options that are in that.
And that, minor revision was somewhere around $1 million, right?
1.3 million, I think was the estimate last year, so we have like that 5% for this year. But that is very, very temporary.
Correct. That is, and it's going to likely require additional maintenance in the future, and it certainly has a very
limited lifespan,
limited service life.
Yeah.
Is that the same things with the Bridge Street Bridge?
Is that a rehab? A total rehab? Not sure.
No, that was just a new deck.
They just put a new deck on it.
Yeah.
And paint job.
Yeah.
Brad, you had your hand up?
Yeah,
It's a good paint.
the dream scenario, if we went with a new bridge, was it would be ready to roll late fall 2008 or
28.
If there's a temporary bridge, best and worst case scenarios, when does that go in? Just so we're comparing the earliest and latest time somebody would be able to cross there. If you said there's lead time, there's design, theoretically it goes in when?
We would plan on having it open to traffic in the fall of 2026, late summer, fall. I mean, we would hope we could develop we would order the bridge as soon as the town was willing to commit. There's only a 12-week lead time. It would take that amount of time to do all the other work we need to do anyway to get it ready to contract. And ideally they could start winter and get it done
I think
in
we
the
would
summer.
commit to the end of the summer, early fall, but we would keep our foot on the accelerator to get it done as soon as possible.
But just for those 80 parcel owners, we're talking a 2-year difference for when they're gonna be able to drive across the bridge.
Yes.
So they definitely won't until at least fall 2026. If it's a new bridge, maybe fall 2028 if things go great.
And to be clear, there is
No guarantee.
there is
Yeah.
less, there's much less risk with the temporary than there is with that schedule than there is with the new bridge.
So I'm still confused what happens.
Delay, the risk of delay is very.
Risk, just from a permitting process, the state's committed to funding the project. And we have the funds to do it. It's not a funding issue from our perspective. It's just getting the clearances we need to move forward with the project.
So I have one thing I wanna understand is what happens to the historic aspect of the bridge if we go with a new bridge? Does it just go away? There's no.
Yeah, there's mitigation. So for NEPA, the part of the federal funding and 4F, you have this 106 process and the 4F process for historic structures. And there's what they call mitigation. So if you have an adverse effect to a historic structure, you have to do something to mitigate it. And that something could be historic signage at your parks. It could be document and destroy. It could be something else. It's a consultative process that goes through federal highway, the Agency of Transportation, the bridge owner, Town of Royalton, and then SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Officer. And they collaborate on what is an appropriate amount of mitigation based on the adverse effect.
And so all that could just slow down the whole process, right?
Yes, it can. I think, we're trying to be clear that, we feel good that we can deliver that schedule, but there's risk. We can't say definitively because there's unknowns and things that could hang us up. But based on experience and based on working with these resource groups, day in and day out, we think that's a practical, it's not it's not an insanely aggressive schedule, but it's also not a lackadaisical schedule. It's a pragmatic look at what we think is realistic expectation to deliver it. And so it could go either way. Things could go really smoothly, and they do sometimes. I've had several projects that go great and we get out ahead of schedule. But I've also had the opposite, so.
We
those
do
are
tend to
our-
get a little better traction with these agencies when there's a bridge close to traffic. They put a little more attention.
Well,
to the
what's been
project.
happening for the past 2 years that, like, where 2 years, we've been waiting on something to happen, thinking something's happening, seeing work kind of happen. And then now you're retracting your steps saying, oh, wait, hold on, that bridge that we were gonna do because of the test that we did on the soil, it came back to where we need a different bridge. And so then everything kind of kept retracting. Which then caused us to wait, and so that's what I'm just worried about with this new bridge. I feel like there's gonna be all these false steps of like,
So there's a few things, right? In those last 2 years, we've had 4 massive floods, which have taken up our
Okay.
boring crews, our
Yeah.
survey crews, our
Yeah.
hydraulic team, our superstructure team. And so to go get the borings, to know what the geotechnical information is like, they were moving around to flood projects. To go get the survey, though our surveyors were moving around to flood projects. Our design teams were moving around to flood projects. Well, we now have, so we might have set a maybe an unknown expectation back then, but we have that information now. So we know what the subsurface condition is. We have the survey, we've done archaeology. So there's a few things that we've identified that we know we still need to do to get the clearances. But we have a lot of information now that we didn't have 2 years ago, so we can have a credible schedule. But that's part of the reason. The resources have been pretty difficult for all of our projects because of just the.
Okay, so if we kick this down the road, put a temporary bridge in, and 8 years from now, we're like, oh, we have 2 years. We need to get this new bridge in. Well, they need to do all of that all of that stuff all over again?
So you won't need to do it where you've done it. So for the archaeology, that's good because it's below ground testing. Permits, they do expire. So any permits that we would have to get them again. Because they typically expire in 5 years, so permits would have to be required. But we wouldn't wait 2 years to start that. Ideally, in that period of time, the design would progress to a point where you knew what you were going to do, and it would be a matter of waiting to put it out to bid.
The risk would be minimized, right? Because we're gonna have a lot of time to clear historic. So if we do run into issues, we're gonna have the time to do it. If it does have to go to Washington for some reason, we're gonna have time to do that. And again, the design schedule would be very, relaxed. I won't say relaxed, but we would be easily able to meet any type of schedule we needed to be able to build the project. It mitigates a lot of risk on our end and your end to get the bridge. If you have the temporary, again, we're giving you our best guess right now. Like John said, we could beat it by a little, but it's very possible that it could go into 2029. I just want to be perfectly upfront with you. Because again, the Agency of Transportation doesn't have control over federal programs and the NEPA process that's required to get the federal funds. Quite honestly, the state can't afford to do this without federal funds.
and then the town could also win the bridge lottery.
They could win the lottery as well.
I have a question. It'll take a year to get this temporary bridge in, is that right?
Yeah, to build the substructures, and I would guess it's about a 6-month construction timeframe.
So one construction season.
Yeah, we would hope they would be able to start in the winter, and best case scenario, we have it up midsummer.
Okay. And our cost is 150,000?
Correct.
Estimated cost.
Estimated cost.
We have to rely on contractor bid prices.
So whatever the bid price comes in at 4 million,
Right, prices.
right, then it would be.
For the bridge.
For the temporary bridge.
Then it's 200,000.
Correct.
Okay. And if you. And then what's this about rent? Is that on top of that?
So that would not be, we would not, if you paid to purchase the bridge at 5%, you would essentially be a short-term owner and we wouldn't charge you the rental cost.
Oh,
If you didn't want to participate in the state buying the and we already have a quote and we know what it is, $1.1 million, 220-foot temporary bridge. We would rent it at our standard rental rates to the town.
Okay, so we
And it-
either, we either put up 150,000 or we rent it.
No, you would still have to pay the 5% for the foundation costs. 5% to install it. And whatever ancillary work is needed for the project. It would just be for you wouldn't have to pay the 5% for the bridge itself.
1.1 million.
Which is 1.1 million of the estimated $3 million cost. Of the total purchase.
Purchase the bridge, can we then sell it to somebody else and then get money back? Like,
It's $1 million bridge.
but we're
I'm not sure you had the resources to even wanna handle a temporary bridge of that size. It's a massive effort to install something like that, or even store it somewhere.
Yeah. And the price is all the time.
I sell it back to the state though.
I'm in favor of putting in a temporary bridge. Trying to come up with 150,000. And I lived up on that road. And I know how important that bridge is to the people who live there.
and it's not just that, it's the entire town that it affects. It does. People aren't coming in for business, the wear and tear for the road crew having to go back and forth and everything. And I'm just saying, it's impacting the entire town.
So that's where I stand.
So I know that like Rachel Bigelow, a friend of ours, Fox Stand Bridge, who I think is there. I think your sales have dropped significantly this year from the Fox Stand. You know, the butcher, like I said, businesses that our friends own across the bridge. You know, it's a significant interest. So I really appreciate, you know, the select boards hearing this out. My last question to the engineer team is just for confirmation that during construction, obviously there'll be some interruption, but the idea with the temporary bridge being installed alongside the new bridge or the old bridge would allow the access of the river, the crossing, to continue during construction, with obvious exceptions that there'll be some temporary closures or continued parts. And by not putting the temporary bridge over the existing bridge, will continue its use while construction is going on.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Can I-
Go ahead, you first.
Say, can I throw kind of an out of the box, out of the norm idea up there? Now that my wheels are spinning. So temporary bridge, we have costs to it now, is $1 million. So when WSP first went out there and they found the deficiencies in the bridge, they did give the town an estimate for what it would be to just repair it to a, say, 3-ton loading that would allow passenger vehicles to go over it. That included access and steel repairs. That cost was about 1 million, 1.2 million. What would be the chances that FHWA would participate in steel repairs versus placing a temporary bridge replacement, knowing it's less expensive? And then that would solve for the permanent structure. The town would still have that 5% share because they would have to close it during construction 5 years from now.
But for how long? 2 years?
2 years.
Nothing for that 2-year construction period.
Right.
So you're still looking at a 2-year closure for those people on the other side of the road, correct?
That would be correct. And I think they would hesitate on that. Only because they see having that inventory as an asset to the state. And we have an agreement with them to, in certain situations where we don't have the inventory, to purchase a bridge with federal funds.
we appreciate you thinking out of the box, though, that's.
Yes.
Me too, I think it's a great question. I just think they would be very hesitant to agree to that.
I was just going to say, I think one of the things we talk about with the temporary bridge, there would have to be a planned closure of the Gilman Road. So we're anticipating that they would build the temporary bridge in the field across from Gilman Road. I don't know who owns the field. So ideally, they would build the full length of the bridge and then they basically push it across. So the road would have to be closed for a day or two for that work to occur. That would only work with participation and permission from a landowner. There's other ways that it can be constructed.
1.2 million.
Yeah, it just, that would be probably the fastest way from a permitting perspective, because it could reduce the amount of permitting we need to do down in the channel. Because then we wouldn't have to have a causeway to get a crane down close to the bridge to reduce picking rate.
And it would reduce the cost as
Well,
well.
it would reduce the cost. So
And you would get some,
compensation for right away, yeah.
yes.
But that's one idea that we,
We would get to use the bridge.
yeah. And that too. But that is one idea, if the temporary bridge is employed, that we would be looking at, that alternative, so there would be some impact for a period.
A short period of time.
Correct.
Just kind of move the conversation like a slightly different direction if people are okay with it. With all this information out there, how do people that live over there feel about the options? Cause like, I go over there all the time, but I don't live over there, so like, I don't know, Liz, you guys have kids in the schools, you guys have business on the side and.
The town to take a direct road like, say, Jerry Hill. And shut it down and say, find an alternative way to get to work. Granted, we have alternative ways. But have you driven them roads all that time? And granted, I am not here in the winter, so God bless you all that are. But even being here, there is times where my sister's car, she drives down the road, the ruts get so bad. I mean, her little car don't go anywhere because it can't ride on the top. I mean, how would you feel if we told you your roads are gonna be closed for the next 6 years?
We didn't do this to you.
I'm just saying that's the information. It's been 2 years. It's gonna be at least 2 more. How would you like your road shut down?
What would your decision be if that was your case?
As much as I just say it. Back River Road, this mud season was fantastic. This is, from the 5 years I've been here, that's the best, congratulations, thank you. But I mean, we've had to go Back River Road a lot more than what we normally do, because that was our only way out. And it's gotta be an extra cost to the road crew, because they've had to put in a heck of a lot more time.
It's on average, I mean, we've been doing about 3 times at least more grading on Gilman and Back River and Royal Hill, just those 3 roads alone. So now you're sending your grader out at least 3 times as much
I heard
just on those, and that's just a grader. Now put in your man hours trucking in material, because your average loss per year is an inch to an inch and a half a roadway. So we've had to actually resurface a lot more as often as we can, but trying to limit the amount we're using because of still having 62 miles of gravel roads. So now the added cost of that and the manpower, wear and tear on the trucks, it has been a lot. We got lucky this mud season. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
We were one of the only towns around that we had less than a handful of spots where there was actually what I consider mud. So we got very lucky. That's why this spring, the travel with the bridge being closed wasn't that bad. It wasn't as much us. We got lucky as a town of just how things thawed out slowly versus in years past. So, I mean, just the added cost of just your grader operating at least 3 times as much. I mean, it's added cost that goes into the budget with fuel, wear and tear on the equipment, the man hours you're paying, just on these 3 main roadways that are affected directly. So.
I think you're putting down better material too, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That does make a big difference.
Except for it gets into our fields. If it comes to our field, they break it out for us, because that's where it's all going. I do know that there's several, well, I know this, that on the horse farm, they now have made a little path in their field for their horses who would normally be on the road, walking their horses on the road to get their horses used to walking on the road. Well, now they can't do that anymore because there's so much traffic. They have to walk the horses on the field next to the road in order for them, because there's a lot of horses that they have and are very skittish. And
Well,
there could be a terrible accident.
I was gonna say that it is, it could be a death trap happening, because that is a business and it's a pretty viable business in our town, and to run that business, you have to have horses riding on the road, and they're definitely, with the amount of traffic going through there, I think that's a really good point. And it's being a preemptive strike to avoid a really catastrophic accident or losing a business altogether, to have them like your business, Rachel, but to have them say, we can't do it here. We can't do it here. It's not viable to last for 8 years without a bridge.
Well, it affects my business also.
Yeah, we were
we
3
have-
miles from 89.
And now sometimes we're 40 minutes somehow.
And ask Google, it's 40 minutes.
And, you know, it's a struggle for my clientele to come to my business because of the being out and the confusion of how, Google Maps or Waze or whatever you use gets you to my establishment. And I know that I'm not the only business who has guests come to their homes, in our neighborhoods. And I know that we're all been affected by it. Guy, who had a rock quarry. He's like,
You were presented with a lot of information today, and I don't think we're expecting a decision. And if there's more information we can provide to you, we will certainly do that as quickly as possible. But again, we're not here to tell you how to manage the town. We're just giving you the options. This is.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any more direct questions for the state folks?
Just the cost I mentioned.
That was the takeaway I had to give the select board basically, we'll run it through that standard equation for user cost and give that to you, so you have a user cost.
That would be great.
Consider for your,
Yeah.
So what you really need from us though is that purpose.
Yes, from you, I need needs. What are the needs for the crossing? Because that really is going to, and that's less critical if a temporary bridge is employed, because that's needed for the permanent solution. So just from a schedule perspective, we are assuming like we're going, temporary bridge was vetoed at the last meeting, so we've been operating under get this scoping report done as fast as possible. Keep the foot on the gas, and we're full steam ahead unless we hear otherwise. So I need needs from you so I can craft the purpose of need statement.
So you people in the room would rather see a 10-year temporary bridge, 1 lane, than 2-year closure.
Yes.
Let me just
Thank you,
add from up the hill, that we're fortunate.
Stephen, just 1 second.
That's not Stephen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was it?
Nils.
Nils, I'm sorry. Is this a question for the state people?
No, it's just, well, actually, what I'd like is to make sure that when you do get the full information and the options, that is posted where we can all see it as quickly as possible.
It's on Facebook.
So there's gonna be a project website. The scoping report will be put on that. That is a public facing website that we will distribute to the town. There will be a public meeting to go over those alternatives, so that will be a warned meeting. It'll be up to the town to warn that meeting.
All right, so it will be broadly visible to everybody.
Correct.
Yes, but if you're specifically talking about the user cost for the temporary bridge, that won't be on the website, so we will.
But we can make sure that the user cost numbers that Jonathan provides are available publicly.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Towns.
And
On
then
the town website.
when would you need to order that temporary bridge?
So they said 12 weeks of lead time on that, so we're gonna have more lead time with permits, so we've got to look. If there was a switch in decision, or you were contemplating a switch in decision, I would wanna start working on clearing the additional NEPA and the field area from a regulatory perspective. In anticipation of that, cause that field season for archaeology closes, right, at the end of the year, and then you have to wait until the next spring. So, if we were even contemplating that, I would go clear that.
Okay. At this point, I would say if you can get us, those user cost numbers. Prior to our next meeting 2 weeks from now, I imagine we're going to be in a position to say one way or the other.
That's perfect.
Um,
I told my archaeologist to be ready for early August, so.
yeah, cause I think whatever we decide, we're not gonna spend a lot of time.
Yep.
We
are prepared to march down whatever path you choose.
I like the free bridge pass, I can.
I like that one.
We all love that one, we all love that. But at this point, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming in, all three of you.
Yeah,
I think, I think it's been extremely helpful.
Yeah, thank you for making the time.
Yeah,
I know that it could be long, is there any way that it could be off the bridge? Or temporary, or bicycle? Just the only way, cause we have a lot of people that now, we've lost a lot of people that take bike rides around. And not only that, and visitors and everything else, but also getting to, businesses and stuff. Park and to get from one side, right now, I see a lot of people jumping over those barriers. Going back to forth, go from one side of the park.
Yeah,
Because
fishing
there's
on
two
the
parks.
And honestly, from the town standpoint, they're gonna wanna keep it closed.
Okay.
Because we
Insurance.
told them to keep it closed.
yeah.
The issue is we run the numbers on a load rating based on what's there, and it literally says the bridge should not be standing now. It is, obviously, it's got plenty of redundancy, and there's things that we don't do in an analysis, but the strict analysis said nobody should be on that. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies.
That's fine.
Moving right on.
I think we'll move on. That was a lot. I do wanna wait and see those numbers from Jonathan and post them for all of you. My intention right now is that we will discuss this again in 2 weeks.
3 weeks, like it's the second Tuesday, right? Second Tuesday.
Oh, right, cause is this the fourth Tuesday?
Yeah,
So it'll be 3 weeks,
yeah,
no?
I think it's 3 weeks till the second Tuesday of August.
It is the fourth Tuesday.
Maybe we should have a meeting before that.
I think we have the time, to wait until the regular meeting.
You do it all 2 weeks.
Well, we'll get that answer in 2 weeks, but we'll have our meeting in 3 weeks.
Yeah. So, yeah, so it's a lot, and I think we would like to see those numbers from Jonathan, and speaking for myself, and I would like to consider that. I'm hearing everything you say. I still have to process, kicking the can down the road to the potential tune of over $1 million for the entire town. And I know you guys are bearing the brunt of this. But, we are charged also with looking after the entire town. So I want to make sure that those numbers and those burdens are fully considered by us.
We could take some barriers and build them on some other town roads.
Civil disobedience has a long and honorable history, Liz. Just remember, it does sometimes have consequences. Having participated in some, yes, it has a purpose, but it also has consequences, but.
One question I have.
Sure.
How many bridges does the town have?
Far too many.
1, 2, 3.
No idea, Larry. Yeah,
So many.
yeah, because it also depends on, I mean, if you're, every stream crossing that spans, if you're counting that as a bridge, yeah, I don't know, it's
You know, taking into consideration this bridge, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And there's 3 bridges that I know of that cross White River, that are rather large bridges, and if any of them are out, it's a problem.
yeah,
Are there other bridges that are similar in our town that I'm just not aware of, other than like Oxbow Bridge that goes over 8
No, I think
Bridge right here.
we had the one on the Mill Road, we did that back in 2006 or something, and then you got the Dodge Bridge, you got Slattery, that's been worked on years ago.
Broad Brook.
You got Broad Brook, we just did some work on that one.
yeah,
This going up, well, those 3 up one, the first branch, and then you got well, the only ones that would be the town bridge here, and then those other 2 on the White River. So, the rest of them are smaller, narrower,
yeah.
shorter bridges.
And they
But-
were all closed while they were being worked on?
Yeah, but, you take the bridge we're talking about, it's 100 years old, put up in 28.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's done really, really well. And Irene, when that went up, the abutments were gone on one side, and we met with the state, and they looked at the bridge and said it'd be good for 10 years, and so that's 2021, but at that time, COVID and everything was going on, and they looked at it and said, geez, you got some more time, and this is what we got.
Yeah, until 2024, when there was no more time.
If anyone can think of a use for a historic bridge, we're open to ideas.
And can move it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to move it.
Yeah.
What's going on with the bridge, the Bridge Street Bridge? It's not the same span, right? It's a little bit different span, but it's got that problem with the, whatever's leaking into the river.
The creosote,
We put a new deck on it.
new
last
deck,
year.
so it should not be leaking creosote.
Some other toxin.
Some other toxin, yeah, but no, that decking was just replaced, and that bridge had apparently, for whatever reason, has done better, because that has been inspected and has not been condemned or said, or recommended for big repairs,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
John,
We did do a major rehab on the Royalton Village Bridge.
Yeah.
Bridge Street a few years ago.
oh, okay,
Closed for a while. But are we doing the preventive maintenance that AOT has recommended, blowing out the gussets on a regular basis? I don't think we are. I don't think
I
we
bet
blow
we're
out
not.
any of the gussets on the Chelsea Street Bridge, and that's going on almost 25 years old. And the pavement on that is even beginning to go. I don't think it's been resurfaced since it was built.
you have some great ideas, you should run for the select board, John.
God, no, no, the town has been very bad at
Yeah.
preventive maintenance on any of our bridges.
No, you're probably
because
100% correct there, yeah.
Do it. And we didn't have the.
And it just seems like
Push to make them do the work that needed to be done, that AOT has recommended repeatedly when they do their structures report on these old truss bridges.
And to your point, I feel like it's just gonna make our current bridges have to work harder.
And with the increased use of the Royalton
Yes.
Village Bridge, it should be inspected more frequently.
Yes, good point.
What needs to happen to make sure that's, what needs to happen to make sure that's occurring? Like where is it falling short? Like,
The inspection of that other bridge, you mean?
Well, just like maintaining bridges.
Yeah, I think the first step would be for us to, actually dig up those reports and read them and then decide how we can address them, whether we have to contract that work out or.
I mean, I think that our town.
That
road crew
that
could-
falls under the highway department.
I think that road crew
Yeah.
could do that.
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying. I have
we
no
should
idea-
look at it.
I have no idea what's in that report. Maybe there's stuff they're recommending be done that our guys can't do.
I know in years past, I've heard stories that they work, the highway department works in conjunction with the fire department.
Yeah.
And they do hose training to wash the bridges, clean out
To
the
blow out the
gussets
gussets.
and do that. But that hasn't,
It's fallen by the wayside.
Yeah.
since I've been employed, that has never been the case.
Okay, well, I guess we may need to discuss a training exercise with you for the fall.
Like that bridge on fire.
Well, let's not get carried away. All right. So I appreciate everybody coming out again, and I'm sure we'll see you all in a few weeks. But we need to try to finish up so we can go home as well.
Thanks for your
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I know y'all worked very hard.
Thank you.
Well,
No, everybody was nice tonight. This was not abusive.
Bye, Rachel.
We've gotten abused, but.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, Recreation Commission appointment. There is a letter in the, there's a letter in your packet, guys.
Yeah, Sarah Blue.
Sarah Blue
Hi.
would like to be appointed to the rec committee. Julia has recommended that the select boards do so.
Julia.
Julia from the rec committee has recommended that we appoint Sarah, and Sarah's letter looking for it is in your packet.
Okay.
Okay,
I make a motion, we, appoint Sarah to the rec committee.
I second that motion.
any further discussion? Lily?
Good.
Oh, Ian, you have your hand up. Is this about the rec committee or this is a follow-on?
Just that you skipped me, that's all.
Oh. Yeah, you're right
That's
there.
okay, but I just wanted to make sure before you get to the next topic.
Well, you are the next topic, so give us 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor of appointing Sarah Blue to the rec committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ian?
Hey
ATV
guys, how
or-
we doing?
Tired. How about you?
Oh, it was all enlightening discussion. No, I just was getting ready to, as I discussed when I, came to you guys a couple weeks ago, that was going to share the ordinance and stuff with VASA from the state. And when I went and grabbed the copy off the website, I realized it was not, the ordinance wasn't actually signed.
Yeah.
This is just more of a formality request so we did all Victoria did all the legal postings and everything, and Carmen verified that there was no petitions, and this is just an ask if we can get the ordinance signed.
Well, we may have a signed copy in the file that is not.
I'm sorry, did you vote on the recreation?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Sorry, and what was the vote?
Unanimous.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we should check, and if it's not signed in.
If it's not signed, so I will,
And maybe Ryan just didn't know where to find that signed copy. It's just that what copy we do have isn't the signed copy. That's all.
okay. And this is the ordinance we passed,
There's a place for a signature.
right?
When was this? When on this last?
October.
It was read and approved at regular select board meeting on October 22nd, 2024. So I think all we really need to do is sign to make sure that we have a signed copy. And then you can have it.
That was it. Yeah, awesome.
Was for the 1 year on Automero. What to only ride on Automero for 1 year.
Well, yeah, with that I need to come back in and meet with you guys first select board meeting of
Right.
every following year.
Right.
And it's from May to October.
May to September 30th.
Yeah.
June 1st to September 30th.
A limited number of ATVs? How many, what's the limit on that?
There's no limit. We don't have a toll booth.
Or what?
There's no toll booth there. There's no.
So I just want to be clear on what I'm signing because it's been so long and there's so many different, I just wanted to make sure, Ian.
May 15th.
Good question. Fair question.
Sorry. Just want to make sure that it's not like, I guess what you're saying is there is no limit. Just making sure I'm clear on that I'm signing that.
The dates are May 15th to September 30th.
This is for a bit, this is for everybody, anybody can.
You can, yeah,
Yeah,
you can read
I
it.
can't
You
read
voted-
it right now, I can't read it.
Well, you voted on it in October.
Well, if I'm gonna sign something, Mr. Lawyer, I wanna know what I'm signing, and I wanna remember it, and I don't quite remember what
It's okay.
happened in October. Well,
I can't remember what happened yesterday. It's all right.
I'm not gonna just sign it because somebody told me to sign it. I just need to look at it.
All right. Next up is damaged tires.
Well, if no one to clarify
What that
what
item
that
was.
is.
Thanks,
So,
guys. I think it was repeated request. Maybe we'll just table this for next time. I think.
I do have some notes if you want.
Okay.
Hold on.
Unless,
I'd like to
wait,
speak to the-
Karen, that's you, isn't it?
It's me,
Yes.
I'm here. Yes, I've been
Go.
here for a long time. Don't skip
All right.
me.
Okay, go ahead then. Sorry, I just looked up and saw you were there. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, we had asked last time if you could expand the tire fund to people not only that live on North Road, but also people that use that road to travel to and from their homes that got pop tires. And it was never really determined last time, so I just wanted to bring it back to the table.
Well, we were going to see if our insurance covered it. Was that the?
So, do you mind if I speak?
Go,
I'm
please,
sorry.
by all
So
means.
just, these were some notes from Ryan.
Great.
And it says there is no tired puncture fund. He
Yeah.
just wants to be clear that there was never a tired puncture fund. That he had been instructed to file the insurance claims through VLCT, which is our insurance company, for the residents. But at this point, everything just has to go through our insurance and there is no kind of.
Right, but last time we were told that it was only people that lived on the road. So I'm asking, can I submit stuff to also be filed since I live on a road that? That's not what they told us before. I've emailed him since our last meeting even, and he said it was still just people on the road, North Road.
And remind us where you live, Karen.
I'm on Davis Road.
On Davis Road.
So I'm between the two problems right now, North Road and the Back River Road. We're stuck between the two.
How did it happen that you had three punctured tires, right?
Right.
And those were all in one incident? All at once?
We got one and we thought it was just like our tire itself. And then right after that, we got two more. And then we're like, okay, this isn't obviously just a fluke tire. And they're new tires. We got them last summer and then we put our winters on and then we got, so it's not the tire. And we're not the only ones. We've talked to lots of neighbors. So we know it's not just our tires. But I just and asking that you expand it to not only North Road people, but people that are also, like I said, our options are either North Road or our other option is Back River Road because the bridge closed. So I want to echo what everybody else said about yes, please, permanent or temporary bridge would be amazing.
Well. I think, I mean, certainly,
Has anybody put a claim in on VLCT for the tires? Does that have to be done as the individual person?
It's done individual.
And-
Well, they send it to us and then we would send in a claim.
All right, well,
Yeah.
guess we send us the
You said
bill
we-
and see what happens.
Yeah.
Send us
So
the
we
bill
should
and see
send
what happens.
information so we should send information to the town
Yes.
administrators? Okay,
Ryan.
yeah, send it to Ryan,
okay, okay,
okay?
I will. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was also here for the bridge part too,
Yeah,
because that
good.
impacts it. So
Glad you
so
went.
that's fine. Thank
It
you.
wasn't, what's that? Okay. Work safe quotes. I think we all have.
Do you have those?
Yeah, but thank you, so. So these are for,
Oh,
these are for signs.
Yeah, the radar package is.
The radar package, there's for the speed hump for. Rebar spike, post,
He just wants to know how many, to vote on how many he should purchase and install.
well,
Is this coming out of the police department's budget? No,
No, I believe that was gonna be coming out of highway.
anyway. Well, there's different things here. There's highway, there's. Signs like equestrian, like horse signs. I don't know what this one is, to W16 3AP 2 miles.
Is it speed bump stuff? I don't know.
No, that's on the first page, and then the speed bump stuff is on the second page, and it's another $422. And then, the third page is the big,
yeah, big ticket.
that's the big ticket. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, if we're seriously, going to reconsider putting in a temporary bridge, I'd like not to spend $12,000 on signs and radar signs for Back River Road.
Well, I was under the understanding we were gonna survey Back River Road to look at possible options of the speed bumps and what we can actually do in that area,
Yeah,
because we can't have anything that's permanent. We
right,
can't have anything in the roadway. Because if it's gonna be in the roadway, it's gonna need to be removable and have to be able to put back on half the grade.
right,
So the equestrian sign, I think, is something we already agreed to do.
okay,
That's the first page.
okay,
Which it should have anyway, regardless of it's bridge or no bridge.
okay, yeah, fair enough.
I'm okay with holding off on the other one, if you want to do that.
I mean, I like some speed bumps. Bob was saying that we should check with the insurance.
Yeah, I don't know about,
So
Yeah, I don't know,
Sure.
speed bumps on the road, whether, yeah, that was the part.
There
I
is,
think
there is other town, I guess there is other towns that uses our insurance that do have speed bumps on gravel roads.
Okay,
Just my concern is the department head was the removing them and placing them
yeah,
in between maintenance.
right,
every month.
Essentially, especially on that stretch, it's
Yeah.
pretty much every month we're having to grade it at least 1 or 2 times, depending on how heavy the traffic is. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but
But how
I
is it
think
gonna work?
It might cause problems too, but. We'll know that until.
Well, can we just get that? Couple of those signs that are.
The signs on the first page,
Yeah, and then move and table this until we figure
Sure.
out that, like you said.
sure. Is that a motion?
Look more into the speed bump thing. I guess that's the motion. I don't, I'm trying to.
Changed any? Has it slowed down at all?
Oh, well, no, I didn't get a chance to ask Loretta why we have a speed sign there's no power. It's just. Speed limit 35, nothing, but it doesn't catch the speed going by because it's not, there's no power to it.
It may not work or something.
No, it needs to be plugged in.
They gotta put the battery in every, 3 days.
Oh.
or something. And they don't do that. All the time.
They've never done it once. It's never worked.
Well, they've had this sign for years, and sometimes it comes back. How
Stand up, my.
come the sign's not working on South Winter Street? Because they didn't charge the battery.
Right, but I'm saying when they brought it there, it never worked. I mean, like, so.
Yeah, but they didn't put the battery in, and something that's why.
Do they have the,
Right, but that's
can
kind
they put a solar trickle charger on it? I know it's
I would imagine.
it's an
Yeah.
easy, cost-effective way to recycle the battery.
Yeah.
So that way they're not having to change it so often. I mean, you can buy those add-on kits.
I don't know if it's
For
enough power, but something to look into.
I mean, I don't know how much the sign actually uses, but I know they have them for campers to redo those batteries. So if you upgraded the battery to a marine battery with a better life capacity, and if you did a solar trickle charger they're in the ballpark of $150, $200, you wouldn't be having to change the battery every 3 days. It's costing you $200 every time.
Yeah, good. That would be great.
That would be great. So
That should be,
maybe we can,
ask Loretta about that somehow.
well, we'll ask Ryan to see if he can source them, and then if that solution works, then we can send Cam out there to hook it up. Yeah,
Can always try it.
I mean,
okay.
also they could just put batteries in for now until they get that new thing hooked up, but I thought that. When we talked about it at the last meeting, that would have been, done already. Like. I would have thought that would have.
Well, maybe there's a problem we don't know about.
Yeah, there could be something else going on with that sign we're not aware of.
Because last time they didn't have it set right or something. I don't know. So I don't think there's anything we can do about that tonight.
Get your solar lamp on, get your little headlamp on, and we're gonna go out there right now at 9:30 and,
All right.
no, I'm kidding.
I'll take a,
When you're kidding.
I'll take a motion regarding the highway signs on the first page of these quotes.
I'll make a motion to purchase the signs on the first page for $271.25.
Second one?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Are all these signs going by Peters or some going by McCullough's?
I don't know.
I know there's some that's also going out to Broad Brook as well.
Oh, that's the place, yeah, Broadbrook.
Broadbrook.
So have we figured out what the W16 is?
No,
But there's no money with it too.
yeah, it is. There are two signs at $38.75 each.
Oh.
So it's two horse signs and then two. Oh, you know what? Those are the speed limit signs for Broadbrook. You remember, we had the discussion where it was not posted. The speed limit was not properly posted at both ends.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
so that's what those four signs are. Pulled that one out.
Oh,
All right. Let's just let's do other business and then we can rip through the warrants excess weight. Okay. Other business, you said, oh, Rita's still here. Rita,
Or Rita.
Rita, talk to us about the panic button.
The panic button. This was Loretta's idea because the money that I handled during tax season.
Uh-huh.
And we also had an irate ex-employee come in and she was concerned about my welfare.
Okay,
So they looked, the PD looked into having this panic button installed in my office.
okay.
There already is one in the clerk office.
Mm-hmm.
It was installed in the clerk office instead of the treasurer's office.
Oh. I'm wondering if it might not be a bad idea to have one in each office.
That would be up to you guys.
You don't happen to know how much they cost, do you, Rita?
Well, yeah, you've got the quote there.
I do?
No, we don't.
Oh, I sent it.
Oh, in an email.
Sure. It was 200 and something. It was under 300. And that's a one-time fee because they already monitor our alarm system.
And that's installed?
Yep.
Seems to me like we need one for Rita, we need one for the administrative office.
And the way they behave, probably one for the listers too.
You go in this room too. Along with the no guns allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for that kind of money, it makes sense to have one in each of the offices.
Okay.
What's everybody else think?
I mean, if Rita feels like she needs one, then yeah, Rita. One in Rita's office. Do we?
Well, people get irate about the select board administrator and maybe even the treasurer, who knows?
286.76.
Yeah, so.
600 bucks for comparison. You know?
Yeah.
Well, the first two offices are the obvious ones.
Yeah, they're in the front.
Front where people first.
What,
come in.
they press the button and then Loretta shows up? Or what does it do? Does it go to?
It goes to dispatch.
It goes to dispatch.
Hartford dispatch.
I mean, we still have the option of intercoming or calling.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'd hate to say we didn't do the right thing and.
Yeah.
You put it in the wrong office, so, maybe we should go back to the original, I think you can do it on your computer too, right? Or is that what this is? Is it an actual button reader or is it a computer button?
It is a button. It's a hidden button under the counter.
Okay, they do have them.
It's like a bank teller.
They do have them that are on your computer screen that you can hit.
Oh.
Well, when I'm taking taxes, I'm not necessarily sitting at my computer.
Right. Right, yeah, so. So do you have a motion, Stuart?
No.
Okay.
He doesn't care about my safety.
No, it's not you we're worried about, it's everybody else.
I'm kidding.
Well, we can certainly start with Rita and then
Yeah,
discuss it.
I'll make a
discuss it
motion
with
to
everybody else.
go to Rita's office to get the panic button.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I think we should follow up with the other.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah. All those in favor of installing a panic button in the treasurer's office, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I have one other piece of business that occurs to me we should take care of. And it's actually helpful that Adam stuck around,
and
because,
executive.
nope.
Did we skip over the weight permit?
Yeah, we're coming back to that.
I didn't see it.
Is there-
There is no excess weight permits this time.
Okay. Okay, that makes it easy. I think as you're all aware, Jamie has submitted his resignation. Did you see that in your email? No? No? Okay, so on Friday, Demi submitted his resignation and requesting a payout of all his accrued time. beyond that in the personnel policy. So since that was something, that we as a board had discussed, I would like to, I will make a motion to accept Demi's resignation and authorize the payment of all of his accrued, leave time beyond the limits in the personnel policy. That'll be his vacation time and some comp time, both of which in the personnel policy he is entitled to.
And it actually, Rita and I double checked that, it actually ended up being personal time, so that would not count as, so it will only be his vacation time.
Only be his vacation time.
Yep,
And
it is in excess of what the personnel policy says, but I think, as you said, that's gonna be.
so it wasn't comp time, it was personal time?
And it wasn't something we told him and we had to change.
Nope, well, our offer was whatever that number turned out to be.
Am I
Yep.
speaking correctly, Rita?
Yes, you are. Yep.
Okay.
And the original, as I understand it, was to pay him out all of his accrued vacation time. And rather than the standard 15 days that we normally do.
Yeah. So that's my motion, to accept Demi's resignation and authorize the payment of all his accrued leave. Including that beyond the personnel policy.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So that means you will continue on as acting road foreman. Ryan is out this week, but I think the moment he is back, what I'd like to do is sit down with Ryan and Larry and get job description out and posted. I would recommend we post for both road crew and road foreman. So, we will be encouraging internal applicants. And then that way, depending on how it all shakes out, we have candidates for what we need. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, perfectly.
Does it sound like a plan, Bob?
I personally. Would not want to go out for. Asking for applicants, opening it up. We gotta give it to somebody on our crew, and Adam's done a good job so far, and he'd been my first choice.
I would ask that we look at the road, I guess I would echo what Bob's saying. Maybe we could, talk to our road crew.
Are we required to go out to other people or?
No, you don't believe so.
I don't think you are.
I don't
That's
think
how
we are.
Demi got the
If
job
we
the
want-
first time.
Yeah, if we wanted to hire internally. I
That's
don't
how
think we
Roger
would
got
have
the
to
job the
advertise.
first time.
We would still need to advertise something because we're short a man, or we're short a person. Thank you.
Adam, I guess the question will be, do we need to have a person?
Absolutely. I mean. Can you get by with a 4-man road crew? Yes. Does it limit what you can do? Yes. Especially with how we do in-house the state grant and aid program. Generally, you facilitate 3 guys to that, minimum of 2. And then how our roads are lately, you can guarantee one person is gonna be on the grader. So at that point, you're already limiting it down to 4 men working, 1 oddball. With the grants and aid program where I said you can actually break it down to have 2 guys do it. You can have 2 guys working on that. You can have your grader operator out there, and then you can have another crew going out and doing the odd jobs. They get left by the wayside, the cleaning of the ditches, the cutting the brush. So that it's more useful to have a 5-man crew. Can you get by with 4? Yes, but it limits everything down. That's what I'm finding right now. with trying to cover two positions. I'm still trying to do my job as the laborer and then try to do facilitating everything as the foreman. There's kind of this gray area where you have to walk this line of, I need to be involved with the crew and doing the work, but I have to make sure that everything is moving forward. So with that 5-man crew, you can actually, at that point, you have 3 crews working at all times. When it comes to winter maintenance, 5 is ideal. You can get away with 4, but you're gonna be stretching your guys thin. Because in the leadership class that I've been taking, a lot, talking with the other towns, some guys are operating a little less miles than we have with a 4-man crew. Does it get hard? Absolutely. They're working from 4 AM to about 5 to 6. Where we can actually work a regular schedule, give or take with what weather we have, work a regular schedule, get everything done more efficiently with 5.
Do you need any specialized help? Like, is there equipment that you have nobody trained to run, or is there some skills that you need?
Right now, the Pleasant Street project basically showed us what we had. We had a guy that actually fell into what was gonna be our lost asset of somebody that can be the, let's call him the excavator operator. We have a guy who can do that work. We do still have 2 guys that are trained to run the grader. So we have people that can run every piece of equipment, so we're not lacking any specific thing. Provided long-term that everyone stays and we can keep the wheels moving the way they are, we're not lacking any skill set yet.
What about like welding and maintenance and stuff that I know Dummy was really good at, that kind of stuff, right?
We've got 3 guys that can weld in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be the little project welder. Demi did the big stuff. I did the little stuff. Mike has welding experience. Brett has welding experience, so we have that
That's great.
skill set covered.
Okay.
There's not much of anything that we're lacking now.
Mhm.
I hate to say it, but that Pleasant Street project really kind of showed what we have. Because that was something I've never done here. And that's something the other guys have never done, and we were able to do that project, critique it on the fly, make it work, make it happen. Get it finished. So we're not, at this point, we're not lacking any skill set at the moment.
Adam, how's the morale?
75% the way there. There seemed to be a swing in morale when everything happened that was unexpected. I expected it to be a very hard divide. Kind of brought everybody back together. There was still an isolated piece of chaos, but we're starting to see the bigger picture. So we're bringing everybody, and what I've been trying to do is every project we've done, we have not isolated anybody. Everybody's been there on the job. Everybody's been doing the work together. We're not creating that divide. Yes, coming with a ditching project and doing other stuff, we're gonna have to split up, break up, and work individually. But bringing everyone together, making everybody work together has actually been a lot nicer. So we're moving in the right steps. So the biggest thing was make the divide that was there is gone. We still have some ill feelings about how things went down and everything, but that's to be expected. They're growing pains. With change comes growing pains. So we can get past that. We can work together. We can have a finished product. So.
Do you think that, the rest of the crew already knows that Debbie has submitted his resignation?
Yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, that the word was passed along.
Okay. So are you good making sure that everybody knows and that this is the way it is for the moment. Would you like Larry or I to come down and talk to the guys?
We can, tomorrow morning, when we discuss the work for the day, I can let everybody know that he gave his letter of resignation on Friday. This is how things are gonna be for the time being until
We sort it out?
everything gets sorted out and we figure out where we're gonna land. But nothing's changed, like I told them from the get-go. The only thing that's changing, it's my head on the chopping block now. I'm the one that has to take all the heat. I'm still working beside them. So it's, everyone is understanding that that is where we're at.
Cool.
What about Cameron? Does he do, how many hours does he do, a week for us? Cameron, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, were you telling me that at one point that sometimes there's a sort of a junior road crew person that might work his
Back home,
way?
so back home, how it worked out is you worked the totem pole. You didn't jump up, you always started at the bottom, and then you were given the chance for advancement. So back home, your entry position, didn't matter if you had a CDL or not, you were the sidewalk guy. That's what you did until a truck became available. When a truck became available, if you had seniority, you went to that position, and then everybody moved up. I always wondered if, because he's hired, my understanding is full-time with us, if he could work alongside with the road crew in projects. I know like tomorrow I'm gonna be working with him getting the carpenter barn cleaned out. Just because he has a deadline to have that done by, and I can pull myself out and give him a hand because he is using one of the town's trucks that needs a hand with it.
And he
So-
does split his time a bit with the highway department, am I right?
No,
He does just
the only thing he does for us is he does the sidewalks, but that is for some odd reason under building and
Building
grounds.
grounds and not highway.
It should be under highway because it is a means of transportation.
Who's the super?
Walter. Right now, Walter is his supervisor.
But it's going to
But-
transition to Ryan that.
With
Once
the
Ryan
buildings
is,
and grounds thing.
once Ryan is fully settled.
So does he work for you at different times on?
He does not work for me at all. He works for Walter under building and grounds. The only thing he does with us is he uses the highway equipment.
Do you,
When he's doing that, are you supervising?
No, because that's all under Walter's scope.
do we need someone with a CDL to, I mean, to plow, to
Absolutely.
plow?
I would not hire anybody without a CDL ever again. It is not beneficial to the town one bit.
Does he have one?
No. For me personally, I don't feel that the town should invest in somebody with a CDL. I mean, granted, may just be my theory.
Without a CDL.
Right,
Yeah.
hiring somebody without a CDL because your hindrance is a 1 ton or a piece of equipment. Now, let's say we hire somebody, but they have zero equipment skills whatsoever. I can't utilize them in a 1 ton. Now I'm having to take time out of, for somebody's time to go train them, which I can't, I get it, we have to have on the job training. But when it comes to driving, the
Yeah,
CDL
so
speaks for itself.
That is a requirement that needs to be put in there.
Unless, obviously, if we're up against the wall, we have no choice, we do have 2 1-tons. That are plowable, so.
Go.
We won't say anything important.
So, do we want to, so do we want to leave it that we'll fashion, these job descriptions, Larry and Ryan and I, and then we will.
Yep.
Next time, decide how we wanna move forward. Whether, like, how we wanna explore hiring,
Good
how's
idea.
that set? So we'll have those descriptions in front of us, and then we can decide.
I'd like to get it done as soon as we can, but
So would I, that's why
You know, when Ryan come back, we can do it. We
hammer
can
that
look
out.
over
Yeah,
what we have right now and see if we need to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then,
I just have a question about the North Road.
I was just gonna say North Road.
okay,
What's the final conclusion? How are we gonna deal with this?
John and I are gonna go up in the morning and look over the punch list. I tried to get it off of my computer. For some reason or other, I couldn't copy it. I don't know how to do PDF file or whatever, but anyway, it's there. And Chris I highlighted the things that we had put in. There's about 12 things in the punch list. And he had red marked, you know, there's different things that that he said he had done or had them do. And you know, and Dylan kind of comes up with a little bit different take on it, but what do I know?
Did you, sorry, make a motion to accept?
We are going to come,
to accept,
Ryan and,
Approval of minutes, sorry.
oh,
no, we didn't do that yet.
Okay.
I got a punch list right here. It's probably different than your punch list.
Did it say 1
From
through 12?
June 24th.
No, this would be a one that was like last week.
Oh, this is, yeah, June 24th, okay.
Larry, if you want to email it to me, I'll print it for you. You can pick it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably figure out something in the morning. Rita.
Okay.
I was kind of in a hurry. I was busy today with doctor's appointments and everything and
I mean, it sounds like we may have to have a come to Jesus meeting with Chris Jarvis before this is over.
and it could be a lawsuit, I'm thinking.
Oh, wow.
We have,
There's a lot of stuff here, folks,
Yeah.
that we've been through
Yeah.
it, and no need of it.
we
Yeah.
have, a bond, what I wanna say,
Yeah,
Performance bond?
performance bond.
and, I don't even know how that works, I just know who supports you on that, who does your work. If you decide that the performance isn't great, then who do you go to?
Call the LCT.
Huh?
The LCT is where I
Chris bump?
say you gotta check with. I'll tell you what to do.
Well, maybe that's what we need to look into, so next meeting, we know.
We have to know what our, you know, what
Our options are.
Yeah,
And I think, I mean, I think that the engineer has has a lot of responsibility here because you hired him to do that, to make sure that job was okay. And
well, I think there's enough blame to go around here at this point.
That might be a place for you, Adam, to go take, I mean, I'm sure you've looked at it, but if you have any input to, you know. Tell Larry at some point, I'm sure that,
Well, if he wants to come in the morning, if you've got time, I don't know what you're up to tomorrow, but
I could help Cameron.
Yeah, that's right,
So we can
too.
get that
Yeah.
cleaned out for his.
yeah.
I mean, the road is gonna, if they put a shoulder on that, which is supposed to be, it says in the contract, a foot on each side. If they put that on, the road's gonna look good. It's, the problem is
Yeah.
that
Culverts are too short.
everybody has a problem with what's underneath it. And I don't know if that's gonna be a problem for us or not, but everybody seems to think so.
If your drainage isn't done right, the road's not gonna last even if it's paved and pretty.
Have they cleaned out those culverts yet?
Well, he said on some of those punch lists that he had, well, we're gonna look in every one of them
Some
tomorrow.
of the culverts have been, I mean,
Cleaned.
around the mouth of them
But
and,
some of those we saw last Saturday that were half full on the discharge. Not the intake, but on the discharge, so you know how full the whole thing is inside, crazy.
and have they,
I don't know, I haven't been up since last Saturday.
Well, no more tomorrow after you go.
and see the French, the French drain. I thought from the beginning, I couldn't understand why they were doing that, and I still don't understand why it's done. All the pipes have been cut off, I assume that there's
Plugs to plug them.
a plug. And, they're supposed to be washed out by the fire department or the road crew or somebody every year. But that road was never wet. I don't
Well,
understand.
if it never
why.
wet, and you don't need a French drain.
I know.
No, French drains are on a road side, French drains are only supposed to be used where you can't put any ditching.
Right,
Well,
well, that and you got some, some clay spots with it's.
Right, or clay or ledge, it's the
Yeah.
only spot you're supposed to use it in French
Yeah.
drains.
so that was an engineering, he put that in his plans. And that was one of the first things they did up through there. And the thing is, you have like 5 contractors who have put in culverts, built roads that live up there, and they're all watching them like a hawk, and and they're quick to point out anything that's gone wrong. I don't know. I think we're in a kind of a tight spot, but I think at some point we ought to list all the things that we think are wrong.
Well, there should be in some conditions when the bill is finally settled on, and if these things occur at, say, a 3 or 5 year time, then the contractor is liable for repairing it.
Well. That's where it's tricky, because then the engineer, the pointing the fingers blame thing, the engineer, and then the pipe. And I think when we asked. Harrington, he said he's gonna be. On the hook, pretty.
Well, he asked
Soon
me
here.
information, and I shouldn't be asking me, it should be him, he's the one that designed this job. I mean,
Are you
that-
kidding me? Oh,
I mean, I have some common sense and we know a few things, but still, we're not educated and college educated and all that stuff.
I'm holding him personally, I think he's responsible.
Well, I do too, but the thing that bothers me the most is that if Chris Jarvis was the boss on the job and he saw these things happening with the winters or waters, why wasn't he on top of them and just let them go
Yeah.
and do it?
yeah,
And get away with it and let them move off the job without correcting these things. I mean, a couple of culverts or 3 culverts we've been to at least 3 times. And they've been right there and we've talked about it every time. And they fix a little bit, but they don't fix what we tell them to do.
And according to their contract, they're responsible for the subcontractor.
Yeah,
And in the contract, it says that we cannot talk to the subcontractor, they have to.
we did. We talked to
Right.
Patrick,
I
which
think,
was
yeah,
there.
I think we followed all the rules. What I'm saying is, Larry, that's what the rule is.
Yeah.
So. I don't know who you hold responsible at this point in time, but somebody's gotta be.
yeah.
Well, how much is the contractor on the hook for? No, not the contractor, the engineer. How much is he on the hook for? There was some mention of $35,000, but I thought that was his site.
I mean, the salary, which is his salary?
I mean, how much should we still owe
We
him?
paid him for the design, right?
He could walk
And then-
away tomorrow and be fine, right?
Yeah,
And so it's Pike that has to phone me up with. Get the.
well,
But if Pike didn't have clear direction from the design, then hold your hand up a tail.
I know.
It's like that the culvert's so short. I just can't believe they have them so short. He gives you the bank's gotta come right down like that instead of kind of like this. Gives you no chance to to do anything at a later date, and they just fill up. But
Poor Zoe on your first fill-in night and we go the distance.
I personally don't think that we ought to talk to somebody from Pike that's in the up and.
well, let's see how we make out tomorrow, and if Chris was as arrogant as what Dylan said, I can see that exactly what needs to happen.
Well, I think, you know, I like Dylan a lot, but. You know, he embellishes a little bit too, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
But Jimmy did, I look at that, Stewart Brook, I think. Where Jimmy went up and got that ditch right straight down.
Yeah,
Took that tree out of there. He did it exactly as you guys talked about that day you were up.
that's right.
He did it exactly that way. And I think he did it because he was totally frustrated.
He was, we saw him that Saturday afternoon, Ted and I stopped in to see him. And, I see his excavator right there, then when we went up to the other culvert by, the Bassett's, and, they all came out. It's, Tom Wells and, Frank and Jim was there and commenting about the situations and whatnot. Anyway, we'll go and see what we can do tomorrow.
Are you meeting with Pike or?
No, well, maybe John was gonna get a hold of him, Chris, and see if he's gonna be there. But I'm gonna meet John at 10:30 tomorrow morning.
No, it's Harrington.
John
Yeah.
Harrington, yes. How many of those did you have to sign? I only signed one. You got?
Yeah,
two?
you missed the folders,
Oh, okay.
the folders have warrants too. I'll send it back that way.
All right, speaking of which, we need to approve the warrants. We have to move to approve the warrants.
I guess I gotta second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the warrants, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And approval of minutes.
When is our final payment to Pike though, coming up? Do we know that?
Doesn't John have to verify all the information that's given?
Yeah.
And he
Wanted
has,
to make
at
sure.
one time, he was kind of behind the 8 ball. This is back, he was doing what, April or something, May and June.
Well, there's no shoulder up there now.
Yeah.
There's a 2-inch drop. And there's supposed to be a foot shoulder on each side. And there's places that they're not even gonna be able to get a foot
Yeah.
shoulder.
Guess I better figure out how to make it a foot.
And then with the short culverts, it's gonna be pretty hard to do that. Then you'll have 4 pieces on each culvert instead of 2.
We need to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Brings us to adjournment. I make a motion we adjourn.
Could we please have, Ryan, somebody let Ryan know to get Tom Wells
Yes, yes, yes.
that
Yeah,
information?
absolutely. I'll second motion to adjourn.
I'll third it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 So Larry,
Sat here for the whole thing.
the engineer should.
How
have
exciting was that?
I figured I should see how it actually goes down.
Nice, Adam.
Hey, great report. I really appreciate that.
Pressure.
That was great.
Oh, Ryan gave me an outline and I just wanted to make sure everything was covered.
No, that was awesome.
That was,
Yeah, that's what
I
we
feel
were
like
looking
that was
for.
the kind of thing we've been expecting, in my opinion.
I feel like I know more now about what's going on than I have at any other time. Yes.
Stuart, did you, do the adjourn? Did you make the
Yeah,
motion?
yeah, and I seconded it,
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you all.
Happy your way. Good job.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
When they're, okay, you got
This is our signed ATV ordinance. Bye, Rita.
Hi, how did I do that?
Stopping.
Yeah, stop recording, Zoe.